Chapter 21:15. Coiling Tiger. Old Master Yu shouted to you, Coiling Tiger, don't argue with him. So what if he's a second-grade medicinal cauldron? He has the ability to win first. Yes, the rules of the competition haven't been announced yet. Do you think you're omnipotent? You Coiling Tiger curled his lips. Old Master Yu nodded and gestured to Old Master Zhao to announce the new rules. Well, everyone already knows that this competition is an alchemy competition. Next, I will announce the rules of the competition. Old Master Zhao said, the rules of this alchemy competition are, whoever can refine a third-grade medicinal pill in the shortest time within the stipulated time will be the winner. The second and third place will be the same. There are no restrictions on the type of medicinal pill. As long as it's a third-grade medicinal pill, it is in line with the rules of the competition. Next, the contestants from the various families and sects, please take your positions and prepare to refine medicinal pills. Third grade. Lin Yi was stunned. Who set the rules? Are they retarded? Is there anyone here who can refine third-grade medicinal pills? If third-grade medicinal pills were so easy to refine, Rock Candy wouldn't be so worried. Yes, it's third grade. Seeing Lin Yi's puzzled eyes, Old Master Zhao nodded proudly. Sure enough, Lin Yi couldn't refine it. Is there anyone here who can refine third-grade medicinal pills? Lin Yi asked. Don't worry about others. If you can refine it, then do it. You Coiling Tiger sneered. Oh, I can't. Lin Yi said faintly. I can't even make a first-level pill, let alone a third-level pill. I said before that I would forfeit this match, and now I'm fulfilling my promise. Lin Yi said faintly, don't even mention a third-level pill. Huh. You Coiling Tiger was stunned. It wasn't surprising that Lin Yi forfeited. After all, he had long felt that Lin Yi couldn't refine third-grade medicinal pills. What surprised him was Lin Yi's words. He couldn't refine first-grade medicinal pills? Was this possible? Wasn't Lin Yi an alchemist? Why couldn't he even refine first-grade medicinal pills? Thinking of this, Yu Panhu looked at Old Master Yu suspiciously. Lin Yi, don't talk nonsense. Who doesn't know that you're an alchemist? You can't even refine a first-grade medicinal pill? Who are you trying to fool? Do you expect me to believe that? Old Man Yu snorted and said, I know you can't complete it because the rules are so high. So you want to provoke me on purpose? It doesn't matter. I'm not angry, and I don't believe it either. If you had said that you were injured in the morning and didn't have enough true qi to concoct pills, I would have believed you. But you used such a clumsy excuse to say that you gave up. Really, TSK. Lin Yi looked at Old Master Yu speechlessly and shook his head. He said regretfully, in this day and age, no one believes the truth. I really feel sorry for your IQ. TSK, do you think I will believe what you said? Old Master Yu snorted, Lin Yi, just give up. Don't find so many excuses. I didn't find any excuses. Lin Yi said and looked at Old Master Pai. I say, Old Man Pai, I said before that if I give up the competition, you will give me a bottle of body tempering potion, right? Now I give up. Give me the body tempering potion. Ah! Old Pai had forgotten about this. After being reminded by Lin Yi, he remembered the bet. His face suddenly darkened and he blamed Old Master Yu for changing the rules of the competition. Let Lin Yi win, so be it. The rules were changed. Lin Yi gave up and he lost a bottle of body tempering potion for no reason. You can't blame me for this. If you want to blame something, blame this alchemy competition. If there was no alchemy competition, I might not have given up. Lin Yi said. Chmph. So what if I give it to you? Old Master Pai didn't dare to renege on Lin Yi's belongings. Old Master Pai was just an external early-stage sky-class master. He didn't have the strength to challenge Lin Yi. Originally, if an external early-stage sky-class master didn't have any special skills, he could only be on par with an internal late-stage peak Earth-class master. Even if Old Master Pai's martial arts focused on Divine Fist, he could only be on par with an internal early-stage sky-class master. But Lin Yi was fine against an early-stage sky-class master. Old Master Pai couldn't win against Lin Yi, so he could only take a step back and accept his loss. That's great, There's a reward for giving up. It's not a loss. Lin Yi nodded proudly and then nodded to Coiling Tiger. Right, you guys continue the competition. There's nothing else for me to do. I forfeit as well. Pan Hu Yu felt that something wasn't right. This Lin Yi didn't seem to feel like he'd been set up by someone else after reading the rules. He didn't seem to be angry at all. Instead, it was as if he was taking pleasure in his misfortune. But Coiling Tiger couldn't figure out what the problem was. As for Old Master Yu, he also felt that something seemed to be wrong, but he couldn't figure out what the problem was for the time being. Coiling Tiger announced that he had given up, so the others naturally wouldn't be able to concoct a third-level pill. Not to mention the hidden houses, even the ancient sects wouldn't be able to concoct a third-level pill. This competition could be said to be an impossible task. Since everyone has given up, the competition is over. There's no winner. All houses and sects, please collect your bet. Old Master Yu announced. Lin Yi happily took the body tempering potion that Old Master Yu had sent someone to get him, as well as the bets that he had bet before. He happily left with Han Tianba and Han Xiaopa, leaving behind a group of people staring at each other. Grandpa, why doesn't Lin Yi look depressed at all? It seems like he's very happy with this result. Coiling Tiger felt that something was wrong. I feel the same way, but that Lin Yi kid is very cunning. Even if he's unhappy, he won't show it. His goal is to make us unhappy, so don't fall for it, Old Master Yu said after some thought. That's right, this kid is the best at acting, or else he wouldn't have been able to trick my two cauldrons. Coiling Tiger nodded. Old Master Yu, because of this rule change, our hidden house Pai lost a bottle of body tempering potion. You can't blame this on us, right? Old Master Pai said unhappily. He didn't dare to wrestle with Lin Yi, but he wanted to get some benefits from Old Master Yu. Chapter 21:16. If that's the case, thank you. With Elder Yu's promise, Elder Pai didn't say anything else. Lin Yi, Han Tianba, and Han Xiaopa walked back to their temporary residence. On the way, Han Xiaopa said angrily, "Boss, this rule is a bit annoying. It seems like it's deliberately targeting you. Who can make a third-level medicinal pill?" According to the information we received before, the rules of the alchemy competition are that the higher the grade of the alchemy pill refined, the shorter the time used to refine the pill. Why did it suddenly become a third-grade pill? Oh, were the previous rules really like what you said? Lin Yi was slightly stunned. Yes, and the alchemy competition of the previous Hidden Summit has always been like this. It hasn't been changed for a long time. It's hard not to think that the sudden change this time is to deliberately target you, boss. Han Xiaopa nodded and said. Hee. Elder Yu and Coiling Tiger Lin Yi smiled. This alchemy competition, Lin Yi was ready to give up, otherwise, he wouldn't have made such a bet with the Hidden House of Pai. But it seemed that the Hidden House of Pai was too careful. Seeing that he won so many matches in a row, they didn't want him to continue winning, so they deliberately changed the rules of the competition. In the end, not only did they not harm Lin Yi, but they also harmed themselves. Lin Yi's original idea was to casually trade a useless treasure for a bottle of body tempering potion. It would be an equal exchange, and there would be no loss. But what Lin Yi didn't expect was that he didn't lose anything, and earned a bottle of body tempering potion for free. Yes, they are really evil, Han Xiaopa said, but fortunately, they didn't win, so we didn't lose in this competition. Hee, not only did we not lose, but we also made a big profit. Lin Yi smiled, although my injuries have healed, I have used up a lot of pure energy. If you ask me to concoct elixirs now, I really can't even concoct a first-grade elixir. I didn't lie to you before. Ah, no way. Han Xiaopa heard Lin Yi's words and suddenly became overjoyed, ha 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 ha. So, this old man you lifted a rock and smashed it on his own feet. It's so cool. If they knew the truth, they would probably regret it. Sometimes they may not believe me even if I tell the truth. Just like before, I told them that I can't make medicinal pills. I can't concoct pills, but they don't believe me. Lin Yi said. That's true, but this matter of making a fortune quietly, I don't care what they think. Han Xiaopa's mood lightened up instantly. Although they didn't get first place, Lin Yi was still the biggest winner. Isn't that the disciple of the hidden House of Yu? Han Tianba suddenly frowned and looked at the forest not far from his temporary residence. There was a person there. At this moment, he was kneeling beside an Uncle Yang with a blank look on his face. He was muttering to himself, but no one knew what he was saying. And this person was actually the hidden disciple of the right family who had previously competed in the fight against each other. Lin Yi also frowned and followed Han Tianba's gaze. Sure enough, it was the injured disciple from the House of Yu. You guys go back first, I'll go take a look. Lin Yi sighed. He didn't know when it started, but his heart was no longer as cold as it was when he first returned to the city. Was it because of Xiao Xiao? Xiao Xiao had helped Chen Shi a lot, and he was very touched by it. Was it because of Xiaoke? Xiaoke's dedication and sacrifice for the children in the orphanage. It moved Lin Yi even more. Or was it because of the Mrs. Cold on the outside but warm on the inside, and over time, he was also influenced by her? In short, when Lin Yi saw this disciple of House Yu's desperate and helpless expression, Lin Yi sighed in his heart. This person was pitiful, relying on the hidden House of Yu. He thought that he would have a bright future, but he didn't expect to end up like this. If Lin Yi couldn't see it, then so be it. But when he saw it, he felt like they were in the same boat. In the past, Lin Yi had similar despair and helplessness. That time when he fought against Ma Zhu of the Golden Bell Gate, Lin Yi was heavily injured and thought that he would never be able to train again, that he would never have strength again. But at that time, Lin Yi's master's attitude towards Lin Yi was completely different from the hidden House of Yu. At that time, the Mist did not abandon him and even wanted to go back to her hometown to seek refuge with him. This hidden House of Yu's disciple, on the other hand, was more miserable in comparison. He followed such a cold master, he was pitiful. Lin Yi silently stood behind this hidden House of Yu's disciple. This hidden House of Yu's disciple's meridians were broken, he lost his strength, and his body was heavily injured. Naturally, he didn't notice the person behind him and was talking to himself. Sister, I'm incompetent. I can't avenge you in this life. I originally thought that I had a fortuitous encounter and reached the height of Earth rank at a young age. I could rely on the hidden House of Yu to have a good future, but I didn't expect. This disciple of Yu's was talking to himself about his sorrow. Sister, maybe you're already gone. I'm going to accompany you soon. Listening to this hidden House of Yu's disciple, Lin Yi's heart was heavy. This person joined the hidden House of Yu to take revenge? It seemed to be for his sister. You helped the wicked, joined the hidden House of Yu, and became a lackey. You should have been mentally prepared for today the day you joined. Lin Yi said lightly. Ah. This disciple of Yu's was shocked. He didn't expect someone to stand behind him. He turned his head subconsciously and saw that it was Lin Yi. His mouth curved into a self-deprecating smile. Did you come here to mock a defeated opponent like me? Defeated opponent? Lin Yi looked at the disciple of Yu's with interest. I pushed you from 3rd to 4th place. Don't you hate me? Hate? Why should I hate when I'm not as good as others? The disciple of Yu's shook his head and said, I hate. I only hate that I didn't follow the right master. You're right. I thought the hidden House of Yu would train me as their core disciple. I didn't expect it to be a lackey. However, I didn't help the wicked. I disdained being a thug for their family's disciples and fawning on those in power. Oh, it's because you disdained that they used you to participate in the competition. Lin Yi smiled. This disciple of Yu's was stunned. He then nodded and said, yes, they used me as a tool. Those thugs only needed to flatter and help those young masters as bodyguards to get some elixirs for cultivation. But I had to risk my life. Chapter 21:17. At first, Lin Yi only sympathized with him slightly and told him not to die. That was all. But now, this Yu family disciple had piqued Lin Yi's interest. Regret. Hee. The Yu family disciple shook his head. What's the use of regret? If I can restore you to normal, are you willing to be my chess piece in the hidden Yu family? Lin Yi glanced at the Yu family disciple and asked with a thought. Pawn. You want me, a cripple, to be your pawn? What? You said you can restore me to normal? The Yu family disciple was stunned. You have the meridian unblocking pill and the small rejuvenating pill? Of course. Lin Yi nodded. Although Lin Yi was unwilling to take the meridian unblocking pill and the small rejuvenating pill, he still had a few pills after so many matches. Haven't you heard how many matches I've won? This. Why are you willing to save me? The Yu family disciple was puzzled. And why do you want me to be the Yu family's pawn? Do you have any grudges with the hidden Yu family? Not for the time being, but it's hard to say in the future. Lin Yi said faintly. Although Lin Yi could heal the Yu family disciple with his true energy, he was not his confidant yet. Lin Yi could not treat him like a confidant. Moreover, the matter of being the Yu family's pawn was just a temporary idea from Lin Yi. It was good if this person agreed, but there was no loss if he did not agree. Not for the time being. Then you saved me. The Yu family disciple was even more puzzled. Lin Yi and the hidden Yu family had a deep hatred. After saving him, he could sneak into the Yu family. With his strength, as long as he did not assassinate those Heaven Stage Masters, it was more than enough to assassinate other Earth Stage Masters. However, Lin Yi said that he did not have any for the time being. It's nothing. Maybe we are in the same boat. I also had a moment of despair like you. Lin Yi sighed and said, in fact, I don't necessarily need you to help me do anything. What will happen between me and the hidden Yu family is still up to Old Man Yu. Sorry, I can't promise you for the time being. The disciple of the right family hesitated for a moment and rejected Lin Yi's proposal. This surprised Lin Yi. Didn't this disciple of the Yu family want to return to normal? He actually rejected his proposal. What did this mean? You don't want to return to normal? Lin Yi asked curiously. I am a grateful person. Although the Yu family treated me unjustly, they have given me a place to live and some elixirs to assist me in my cultivation. Although they abandoned me this time, it was my own suggestion to participate in this competition for the generous reward after winning. The Yu family did not force me to do so. The Yu family disciple said, so, if the Yu family doesn't do anything excessive to me, I can't do anything to them and help you deal with him. I didn't expect you to be so foolishly loyal. Lin Yi shook his head. This is not foolishly loyal. If you can save me today and let me return to normal, I will repay you generously in the future. The Yu family disciple said, I was going to repay you to the Yu family, but I changed my mind. Repay you generously? Lin Yi narrowed his eyes slightly. What do you mean? A treasure map. The Yu family disciple said, I will tell you what it is after you save me. After this competition, I will return to the Yu family and get the treasure map. I will definitely give it to you at the right time. Treasure map. Let's not talk about whether it is true or not. Even if it is true, it is hard to say if there is any treasure on it. Lin Yi was not very excited. He said indifferently, moreover, even if there is a treasure, why don't you find it yourself? I went there once, but it was inaccessible. I didn't find the exact place. The Yu family disciple did not hide it. After that, I want to say it as a contribution to the Yu family. I want the hidden Yu family to help me get a chi gathering pill and advance to Heaven Stage to avenge my family. Are you sure you won't help me deal with the Yu family? Asked Lin Yi. If I feel that there is no need for me to stay in the Yu family, I will definitely seek refuge with you to repay you for saving my life today, the Yu family disciple said firmly. Although he did not answer Lin Yi's question directly, he also expressed his meaning. Forget it. Come with me. Lin Yi waved his hand. Although this Yu family disciple was foolishly loyal, if he went back and gradually discovered Elder Yu's true colors, he would probably slowly change his mind. Lin Yi could form a good relationship with him. Even if he could not use him to deal with the hidden Yu family, he could at least pass on some news. Thank you for saving my life. The Yu family disciple was overjoyed and stood up. He cupped his fist and said, after returning to the hidden Yu family, I, Yu Dake, will fulfill my promise and hand over the treasure map with both hand. Phut. Cough cough cough. Lin Yi was shocked by the Yu family disciple's name. What is your name? Yu Dake, what's wrong? Yu Dake looked at Lin Yi inexplicably. He didn't know what was wrong with his name. It actually shocked Lin Yi to this extent. Then, what is your sister's name? Asked Lin Yi. My sister. Why are you asking this? When Yu Dake heard Lin Yi's question, his expression suddenly became vigilant. He looked at Lin Yi. Who are you? Who is Yu Xiaoke to you? Lin Yi didn't care about Yu Dake's expression and asked directly. Yu Xiaoke. Yu Dake's expression became even uglier. He seemed to regret telling Lin Yi his real name. He saw that Lin Yi helped him out of righteousness and wanted to give him the small rejuvenation pill and the meridian unblocking pill, so he revealed his real name. He was a person who would repay kindness. He didn't want to hide in front of his benefactor, so he directly said his real name. He didn't even use this name in the Yu family. In the Yu family, he used the name Yu Ju. This was the code name of a Yu family disciple, just like Yu Shisan. When the person in front of him heard his name, his expression began to change. Not only that, he actually knew his sister's name. Could it be that the person in front of him was his enemy? Thinking of this, Yu Dake suddenly became disheartened. He was clear about Lin Yi's strength. A full blow from a heaven stage master had no effect on him. The fact that he could stand here and joke with him was the best proof, not to mention that he was injured. Even if he was in his peak state before he was injured, he wouldn't be able to beat Lin Yi. He couldn't escape the fate of being killed. So thinking of this, Yu Dake could only look at Lin Yi helplessly and regretfully. He could only blame himself for trusting Lin Yi too much. Chapter 21:18. When he heard Yu Dake's name, he was just trying his luck. He didn't know that Yu Dake and Yu Xiaoke really had a relationship. No, I don't know him. Yu Dake clenched his teeth and shook his head. What Yu Xiaoke? I don't have a brother. Ha! Lin Yi smiled. You really are an idiot, aren't you? You're not that smart either. No wonder you're the one who's volunteering to participate in this tournament. So what? Yu Dake didn't care about his injuries or his life anymore, but Yu Xiaoke's news. All these years, he had been secretly investigating Yu Xiaoke, but he didn't find anything. He was sure that he had never mentioned this name to anyone, nor did he hint to anyone that he had any relationship with this name. But today, this person said his sister's name after hearing his name. For Yu Xiaoke's sake, I saved your life. It's fine if you don't want to admit it. Lin Yi waved his hand indifferently. Yu Xiaoke's life was already stressful enough, and suddenly a brother with a family grudge popped out. Wouldn't Yu Xiaoke die from exhaustion? So he didn't care that this person's sister was Yu Xiaoke. The Yu Xiaoke that Lin Yi knew wasn't the same person. Lin Yi saved him once, and whatever happened after that had nothing to do with Lin Yi. Ah! Yu Dake froze. Why did this person save him? Wasn't he his enemy? He was confused. Aren't you my enemy? When did I say I was your enemy? This is the first time I've seen you. Lin Yi said. Then the Yu Xiaoke you're talking about. Yu Dake hesitated and asked cautiously, do you know Yu Xiaoke? I do, but I can't tell you where she is. Lin Yi said firmly, I don't want her to get involved in this random family grudge of yours. Just to my liking. Yu Dake slapped his thigh and said, I was just about to tell you not to tell her about me. I can avenge this hatred alone. I don't want to implicate her. I just want to find her and make sure she's living well. Pretty good, Lin Yi said. That's good. Dake let out a sigh of relief, as if a burden had been lifted off his mind. The Yu Xiaoke you're talking about, what does she look like? I'm different from you, Lin Yi said. Ah! Yu Dake was stunned and shook his head. That's natural. I take after my father. I'm not very good looking, but I'm rough and valiant. I take after my mother. I'm pretty. Oh. Lin Yi replied faintly. Right. What's your relationship with her? Suddenly, Yu Dake's expression tightened as he looked at Lin Yi. It's okay, Lin Yi said. Really? Yu Dake felt that something wasn't right. He didn't want to give up. Do you want the pellets and meridian unblocking pellets? If you don't, then get out. Lin Yi said. Yes. Yes. Yu Dake quickly nodded. Then. Do you have a photo of her? Can I see it? No. Lin Yi said. You really don't. Yu Dake was disappointed. She's not my wife. Why would I bring her photo out? Lin Yi said angrily. Then. Wait. Yu Dake said. He took out a pocket watch and opened it. On the cover of the pocket watch, there was a photo. On the photo, there was a boy and a girl. The boy looked 4 or 5 years old, and the girl was only 1 or 2 years old. Udake handed the pocket watch to Lin Yi and asked, "Then help me see if it's her." Udake confirmed that Lin Yi wasn't hostile and wasn't his enemy. He couldn't wait to confirm if the Yu Xiao Lin Yi was talking about was his sister. "You're showing me a pornographic photo? Your sister isn't wearing a shirt. This isn't good." Lin Yi sweated. "How can I recognize such a small child? Do you think I have superpowers? Besides, I've never seen your sister naked before." Udake was speechless. "You're so complicated for such a small child." "Kind of," Lin Yi said, "but I'm not sure. The only thing I'm sure of is that the Yu Xiao I know is also an orphan." "Then it should be." Udake carefully put away the pocket watch and said, "Then I'm relieved. Whether it's her or not, just think of it as a memento. But don't tell her about me. I don't have the time," Lin Yi said and walked into the temporary residence with Udake. He asked Han Xiaopa for a meridian opening pill and a small recovery pill and gave them to Udake. "Thank you. I'll leave first. I'll repay you in the future." Udake cupped his fist and left Lin Yi's temporary residence. Lin Yi sighed. Was this the so-called cause and effect? Lin Yi was touched by Yu Xiaoka, and then he accidentally saved Udake. Although he wasn't sure if this Udake was Yu Xiaoka's brother, it seemed to be the case. "Boss, how did you save him? Isn't he a disciple of the hidden house Yu?" Han Xiaopa had some doubts but waited until Udake left before asking. "Oh, I want to leave a spy in the hidden house Yu. Don't talk about this." Lin Yi didn't explain much. "I see." Han Xiaopa didn't ask much about Lin Yi's plan. He said, "Boss, I think the single elimination tournament will be held tonight. You've just recovered from your injury. Why don't we forfeit?" "Not bad. Our hidden house Han is already very dazzling. I'm very satisfied with it. The tournament after this is more complicated. It'll take a lot of fights to determine the winner. If Mr. Lin doesn't want to participate, then don't participate." Han Tianba nodded. "Let's see," Lin Yi said. Now that things had come to this, it was impossible for Lin Yi to not participate. If he refused, it would seem like he was really injured or afraid. Now was the time to establish his dominance. Killing 3 Earth-class warriors with one move wouldn't give Lin Yi too much time. These old men couldn't wait to get rid of Lin Yi. If Lin Yi didn't show weakness, it would be troublesome when he returned to the mortal world. "All right," Han Xiaopa nodded. Chapter 21:19. "Let's go," Lin Yi said. Han Tianba and Han Xiaopa saw Lin Yi's insistence, so they didn't say anything else. They followed Lin Yi to the meeting room. Just like before, Elder Zhao announced the list and bets. Next up is one of the most important parts of the Hidden House Summit, the Single Arena Challenge. Due to the special nature of the competition, there was a limit of 1 person. Gantian Mountain Sect was good at 1 man and 1 beast, fighting together. However, they had no advantage in one-on-one combat, so they gave up. Next, there are 8 houses and sects left, and they will draw lots to decide the top 4. Then, they will draw lots to decide the top 2 and the 3rd place. The final winner will be decided from the top 2. Of course, if you don't want to participate in the competition, you can say so now. Life and death are fated in the arena. Unless one party admits defeat, they can kill their opponent. In the arena, no treasures or weapons are allowed. As for the other rules, there are no rules. Of course, after the top 3 are decided, for fairness, the next 4 can be given a chance to challenge, but the challenged can't be a previous opponent. For example, if you've already lost to your opponent in the elimination rounds, then you can't choose to challenge them again. Does anyone have any objections? This rule was fair, so no one objected. Alright, since no one has any objections, then the competition will begin. Let's invite the participants to draw lots. Elder Zhao said. Lin Yi drew lots with the other participants. In the first round, Lin Yi's opponent was Pai Zhihai from the Hidden House Pai. This lot surprised Lin Yi, but against Pai Zhihai, Lin Yi was more than enough. Right now, Pai Zhihai was only an Earth-class early phase peak physical practitioner, while Lin Yi was on the same level as him, but he was a spiritual practitioner. Spiritual practitioners were stronger than physical practitioners, and this was a well-known fact, unless there was someone like the Golden Clock sect. Therefore, with Lin Yi's current strength, there was no doubt that he could defeat Pai Zhihai. Perhaps during the Ice Palace trial, Lin Yi wasn't a match for Pai Zhihai, who was an Earth-class early phase. At that time, Lin Yi was only a mystic mid-phase peak. However, with the passage of time, Pai Zhihai had only broken through one stage to the peak of early phase of Earth class, but Lin Yi had broken through several stages. This was the advantage of a spiritual martial practitioner over a physical martial practitioner. External experts could level up quickly in the early stages, but not in the later stages. However, internal experts were different. Lin Yi did not care about the opponents of the others. The 4 matches were going on at the same time. Lin Yi walked straight to the stage. Seeing this ranking, Old Pai sighed in his heart. Why was he so unlucky? Before, in this competition, House Pai had made Pai Zhihai a seeded contestant. After all, Pai Zhihai's martial arts were very strong. One punch had the power to split mountains and split seas. With this kind of heavy punch, even an Earth-class late-phase peak would have to retreat. As long as he didn't meet the nemesis of the Golden Clock sect, his chances of winning were still very high. However, Old Pai didn't expect the unexpected factor of Lin Yi. In terms of martial arts, Lin Yi was even stronger than Pai Zhihai. Just from the competition that day, he knew that Lin Yi's martial arts were much stronger than House Pai's. So, it was impossible to compete with Lin Yi in terms of martial art. But if he didn't compete in martial arts, he couldn't compete in other things either. If Lin Yi could take a full force attack from a sky-class early phase, could he? Old Pai's face was very ugly. He was like a deflated balloon, but there was nothing he could do. Grandpa, I'll go all out. Pai Zhihai looked at his grandpa's face. How could he not know what he was thinking? He gritted his teeth. Don't be rash. Old Pai waved his hand. That Lin Yi is unstoppable right now. You have no chance of winning against him. You're not that strong, so you rely on martial arts. But Lin Yi's martial arts are still on you. So, after you go up, try to stall for time and go through the motions. Save your strength and challenge the top 3. Yes. Pai Zhihai didn't want to give up, but he knew how strong Lin Yi was. The funny thing was that Pai Zhihai and Pai Zhishan wanted to find Lin Yi for revenge. Now that Lin Yi was right in front of them, and in the arena of life and death, they had to admit defeat. Thinking about how unwise it was for House Pai to provoke Lin Yi for the sake of the Xiao family. Lin Yi's follower was already so strong. Lin Yi must be even stronger. At first, he still had some hope. But now, all of the matches were with Lin Yi as the main character. Old Pai felt that it was time to avoid Lin Yi's sharp edge for a while. This kid wasn't easy to mess with. He was like a porcupine. If he wasn't careful, he'd get stabbed. Pai Zhihai's aura weakened before the fight even started. He had hatred in his heart, but he couldn't vent it. He walked up the stage with Lin Yi and looked at Lin Yi with hatred, but he didn't attack. Pai Zhihai was a martial arts fanatic, but he wasn't an idiot. He came up just to go through the motions. When Lin Yi attacked, he would admit defeat. Pai Zhihai, I've killed many people from your house Pai. But at the end of the day, my hatred towards your house is towards the common Xiao family, not your hidden house Pai. So, I don't want to take your life in this fight. Lin Yi said faintly. It's easy for me to take your life. I don't want to bully you with your strength. How about this, you attack me. If I can't dodge it, you lose. How's that? No need. If that's the case, then there's no need to fight. I'm not as strong as you, so there's no shame in admitting defeat. Pai Zhihai said with a fist salute. Pai Zhihai's actions surprised Lin Yi. But seeing the smile on Old Pai's face, Lin Yi guessed that Old Pai knew he couldn't win, so he told Pai Zhihai to save his strength and fight for the top 3 instead of wasting his energy and life on him. Lin Yi won. There was no doubt about it. Although Old Zhao wasn't happy, he still announced the result. While the other 3 arenas were still fighting fiercely, Lin Yi's arena had surrendered without a fight. Boss, you're amazing. The fight hasn't even started, and he already admitted defeat. Han Xiaopa rubbed his eyes. He couldn't believe the scene in front of him, but it was true. Pai Zhihai surrendered without a fight, and Lin Yi won. Lin Yi shrugged and turned to look at the battle. Basically, the outcome was already decided. Chapter 21:20. Ma was the surname of the Golden Bell sect's disciples, but the masters all had the surname Jin. This was a rare situation in the sects. The Fire Wolf gang, on the other hand, didn't have any advantage in this level of competition. Although the disciples of the Fire Wolf gang were not afraid of fighting, they were still beaten by Tang Yuyu to the point where they didn't even have the strength to fight back. This kind of mindless puppet only knew how to blindly hit without any order. Therefore, Tang Yuyu easily found an opportunity and kicked them off the stage. Tang Yuyu won. On the other side, the Hidden House Yu's UBA was fighting against the Hidden House Yu's disciple, winning by a small margin. On the other side, the Golden Bell sect's disciple, Ma Das Hen, was fighting against the Hidden House Zhuang's disciple. Ma Das Hen wasn't afraid of beating the House Zhuang's disciples' attacks were like tickles to him, but he kept finding opportunities to ambush them. This was the difference between thinking and not thinking. Ma Das Hen and the Fire Wolf gang's disciple were similar in nature, but the situation was completely different. In the end, when the House Zhuang's disciple wasn't paying attention, he used his body to knock the Zhuang's disciple off the stage and won. After a short break, they drew lots again. Lin Yi's opponent this time was Tang Yuyu. Grandpa, I have no chance of winning. Tang Yuyu used to be a mystic mid-phase peak, but after House Tang turned to House Yu and the Sky Elixir sect, they received a lot of elixirs, and Tang Yuyu's strength increased as well. He was now an Earth-class mid-phase peak. But even with this strength, Tang Yuyu didn't want to fight against Lin Yi. First, he felt that he wasn't a match for Lin Yi, and second, if he kept fighting, it would hurt their relationship. If Lin Yi let him go because of Tang Yun or Auntie Xiao Ming, then he would have an unfair advantage. Tang Yuyu was a righteous man. He didn't want this kind of victory. Of course, Elder Tang didn't know what Tang Yuyu was thinking. He only knew one thing and didn't know the other. He nodded and said, "Then the hidden Pai Zhihai's choice is very wise. We, the hidden Tang family, can't be the first bird to stand out." "Yes, so I also want to admit defeat," Tang Yuyu said. "Conserve your strength. When the time comes to fight for second and third place, don't even think about getting first place. In my opinion, only the people from Golden Bell sect can compete with Lin Yi." Grandfather Tang said, "I don't think they are a match for Lin Yi." "Okay, I understand." Tang Yuyu nodded. Therefore, in this match, Tang Yuyu didn't even enter the arena. He directly cupped his fists at Lin Yi and said, "Brother Lin, I admit that I'm no match for you. My sister is really lucky." After listening to Tang Yuyu's words, Lin Yi was somewhat puzzled. Tang Yuyu calling him brother made Lin Yi very puzzled. Was he familiar with Tang Yuyu? The more he talked, the more ridiculous he became. His sister had appeared, so who was Tang Yuyu's sister? Today, there was Yu Dake and Yu Xiaoke. Would Tang Yuyu also have a sister he was familiar with? However, before Lin Yi had time to think, Grandfather Zhao helplessly announced the results of the match. The Hidden Tang family admits defeat, the Hidden Han family wins, successfully entering the top 2, and will fight for the championship. Tang Yuyu didn't say anything else. Although the Hidden Tang family had fallen out with Tang Yun and Aunt Xiao Ming, Tang Yuyu still recognized this sister and aunt. He was afraid that his grandfather would be unhappy if he said too much, so he turned around and returned to Grandfather Tang's side. How shrewd was Grandfather Tang? He was a sky stage master. How could he not hear Tang Yuyu's words? However, he didn't stop him. He had his own thoughts. Lin Yi was getting stronger and stronger. Now, the Hidden House Yu, House Zhao, Golden Bell sect, and House Pai all had masters who suffered at the hands of Lin Yi. In comparison, the Hidden Tang family and Lin Yi had the least conflict. Although the Hidden Tang family had sided with the Hidden House Yu and the Heavenly Elixir sect, there was no possibility of repairing their relationship with Lin Yi. However, what if the Hidden House Yu and the Heavenly Elixir sect were finished? He had to leave a way out for the Hidden Tang family, right? This way out was Tang Yuyu. He would let Tang Yuyu form a good relationship with Lin Yi and Tang Yun. Once the House Yu or the Heavenly Elixir sect lost their backing, Grandfather Tang would forcefully support Tang Yuyu and learn from the Hidden Han family. He would have to recognize Lin Yi and Tang Yun no matter what. Of course, he didn't know that Lin Yi had already forgotten about him and Tang Yun. As long as Tang Yun appeared, Lin Yi had no memory of what happened. It can't be. He surrendered without fighting again. Han Xiaope looked at Lin Yi, who'd gone to the arena for a spin, and was speechless. Everyone else was fighting to the death over there, and Lin Yi hadn't even moved a finger, and he'd won 2 matches in a row. If he did the same in the 3rd match, then he'd probably be the strongest fighter in the history of the Hidden House Summit. He won the championship by surrendering without fighting in the ring. Although Grandfather Zhao was helpless and didn't want to see this result, he knew what the other families were thinking. Who would want to touch a terrifying existence like Lin Yi? If they met him, they would either get injured or die. There was no third possibility. Instead of that, they might as well save their strength and fight for 2nd and 3rd place. Lin Yi, on the other hand, was already in the top 3. Even if he lost the championship match, he'd still be in the top 2 for sure. The worst he could do was 2nd place at the very least. On the other side, Ma Das Hen of the Golden Bell sect won by a small margin. UBA of House Yu lost. This result wasn't too surprising. After all, Ma Das Hen had his specialties. His body was extremely strong, and he used defense as a fence. He always used sneak attacks when there was an opening. When you hit me, I'll use chi to defend. When you take a breather, I'll hit you. UBA was strong, but he still fell for it. He was forced to the edge of the ring by Ma Das Hen, and was pushed off. UBA didn't want to admit defeat, but he couldn't do anything about it. If he continued to fight Ma Das Hen, he wouldn't have any confidence in winning. So he decided to save his strength and challenge the others in the top 3. The last round of the championship, Lin Yi of the Hidden House against Ma Das Hen of the Golden Bell Sec. This match was going to be interesting. One was Lin Yi, who'd had no opponents this entire time, and all his opponents gave up without a fight. The other was the weakest of the two, Ma Das Han, who'd used his body to force his opponents out of the ring. You're not going to surrender? Lin Yi looked at Ma Das Hen and asked faintly. Why would I surrender? Others might be afraid of you, but I'm not. Ma Das Hen said coldly. Chapter 21:21. H. Senior brother Ma is weaker than me. It's no surprise that you could injure him. Ma Das Hen said, I'm here to avenge him. I want you to know the power of the Golden Bell cover. Oh, that sect leader of yours, Jin Wudi or something, died before he became invincible. Lin Yi said. Ma Dashan's face changed, his eyes burning with rage. Ma Zhu and Jin Wudi, they were the 2 greatest humiliation to the Golden Bell sect, and the one who caused all of this was this Lin Yi. Ma Das Hen didn't dare say he had the confidence to kill Lin Yi, but he did have the confidence to knock Lin Yi off the stage and trample on his ranking. He was angry, but he wasn't reckless. I've seen your technique, it's just SOSO. You only destroyed a rock. You can injure senior brother Ma Zhu, but you can't beat the head sect. The head sect, he died because of your scheme. Oh, if you want to scheme, then so be it. Lin Yi looked at Ma Das Hen and turned to Jin Gang. He's no match for me. If you don't want him to die, you better make him admit defeat. You. Jin Gang didn't expect Lin Yi to be this cocky, but he had faith in Ma Das Hen. Ma Das Hen was only mystic late phase peak, but his mastery of the Golden Bell cover wasn't any weaker than Jin Wudi. Jin Wudi might have died to Lin Yi's lackeys, but Lin Yi himself might not be able to do anything to him. Otherwise, why didn't Lin Yi kill Ma Zhu? Moreover, Diamond had been paying attention to Lin Yi's matches along the way, but there were 2 matches he was most interested in. One was the martial arts match, and the other was the defensive match. These 2 matches were the only ones that could be used as a reference for the arena. The might of Lin Yi's martial technique could only be considered ordinary in Diamond Drill's eyes. It was far inferior to the might of a heaven rank expert. He was confident that Ma Das Han could also take on a heaven rank initial phase expert's resistance. Therefore, even if Lin Yi used that martial technique, it would not be of much use to Ma Das Hen. As for Lin Yi's ability to take hits, although it was also very strong, it was not impossible for Ma Das Hen to find a flaw. As long as he made use of it reasonably, he could still take advantage of it. Just like in the previous 2 matches, although Ma Das Hen was the weakest, he was the final winner. Thinking of this, Jin Gang said coldly. Lin Yi, don't be an alarmist. We will only know who will live and who will die in the arena. Oh, I'm just reminding you out of goodwill. Don't let your good disciple be killed by me. Don't get angry out of humiliation and take revenge. If that happens, your Golden Bell sect will be annihilated. Lin Yi said lightly. What a glib tongue. Jin Gang laughed coldly. If he dies in the arena of life and death, it's just his bad luck. This Hidden House Summit has been held for many years, and many disciples have died in the arena. I've never heard of any house holding grudges. Forget it. If that's the case, then I won't say anything more. Lin Yi sighed and shook his head. There's no need to say anything more. The nonsense is over. Let's begin, Jin Gang said. All right, Elder Zhao, please announce the start of the match. Lin Yi looked at Elder Zhao. All right, Hidden House Han and Golden Bell sect participants, take your positions. The arena match is about to begin. 3, 2, 1, begin, Elder Zhao announced. However, when Elder Zhao finished speaking, the match had already begun. However, Lin Yi did not move, and neither did Ma Das Hen. Ma Das Hen looked at Lin Yi cautiously. Offense was his weakness, defense was his strongness, finding the enemy's weakness in defense, and forcing the enemy off the stage in one hit. This was Ma Dashen's style. Lin Yi laughed coldly in his heart. Through Ma Dashen's previous matches, he had already figured out Ma Dashen's tactics, so he was not in a hurry. He just stood there and looked at Ma Das Hen without moving. Time ticked by. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. In the arena, the two people were still staring at each other. They had no intention of making a move. Originally, this match was supposed to be the most exciting and interesting match in the single arena challenge. At the start of the match, everyone present, be it the elders, the sect leaders, or the disciples of the various clans, all stared at the arena without blinking. They wanted to see the exciting match between these two experts, but now, 20 minutes had passed, and the two still had not made a move. This made the audience a little anxious and lost interest. What were these two playing at? If they wanted to fight, then hurry up and fight. Why wasn't anyone making a move? Jin Gang frowned. He did not expect Lin Yi to use such a tactic. Generally, when Ma Das Hen fought with his opponent, the opponent would make the first move. Then, Ma Das Hen would defend all the way and look for opportunities to attack his opponent. But at this moment, Lin Yi was not making a move. Was Ma Das Hen going to make the first move? Once Ma Das Hen made a move, he could not fully concentrate on the mantra of the Golden Bell Shield. If he was slightly distracted, the Golden Bell Shield might not be as powerful as it was when it was channeled. What if he was knocked out of the arena? Therefore, Jin Gang was anxious and secretly scolded Lin Yi for being shameless. He clearly knew that this was the Golden Bell sect's tactic, but he followed suit and only defended without attacking. How was he going to continue fighting then? However, Jin Gang could not say anything. After all, Lin Yi did not make a move in the previous two matches and surrendered without a fight. Therefore, if he used Lin Yi not making a move as an excuse to attack Lin Yi, it would not be realistic. After thinking about it, he could only push Lin Yi and let Lin Yi make the first move. However, just as Jin Gang was about to speak, Lin Yi spoke first. On one hand, Lin Yi was paying attention to Ma Dashen's movements. On the other hand, he was paying attention to Jin Gang's movements. As long as one of them wanted to speak, Lin Yi would speak first. I say, Ma Das Hen, is this all the Golden Bell sect has? I'm standing here and letting you hit me, and you're not going to make a move. Lin Yi laughed mockingly. Is it because of Ma Zhu and Jin Wudi that you guys are traumatized and don't dare to make a move? Why you re-bullsh*** ting? Jin Gang was furious. This was what he wanted to say to push Lin Yi, but he did not expect Lin Yi to say it first. He was shocked and angry, but there was nothing he could do. He could only retort, Lin Yi, you know that our Golden Bell Shield is a defensive tactic. Are you purposely making life difficult for us with this tactic? Everyone can see that we've been using this strategy in our previous matches. Did you do it on purpose? Chapter 21-22. The energy bomb reappears you. Jin Gang said, I don't believe it. Why don't you make a move? Let's just keep this up and see who can last longer. Oh, actually, the reason why I'm not making a move is very simple. I might as well tell you my strategy. Lin Yi smiled and said, my strategy isn't to use defense as offense, but to wait for the opponent to admit defeat. Look at how angry you are, why bother? Admit defeat. Huh. Lin Yi, do you think my golden bell gate will admit defeat? Dream on. Jin Gang said, if you're afraid of losing, then say what you're afraid of. Don't come up with so many useless excuses. Admitting defeat is actually for the good of your golden bell gate. Because once I make a move, your disciple won't even have a chance to resist. He'll die in one move. Lin Yi shrugged and said, I only need one move. Huh. This is the funniest joke I've ever heard. Lin Yi, do you think you're very strong? Let me tell you, even yesterday, Ma Das Hen could still withstand the power of an early phase heaven class attack. Don't think that you're the only one who can. I don't believe that your next attack can be stronger than yesterday's. Don't lie to me to admit defeat, it's useless. Jin Gang said. Then I can only make a move. You're stubborn. Lin Yi looked at Ma Das Hen with pity. You're dead. If you want to blame someone, blame it on that idiot Shifu of yours. He was too ignorant and arrogant. He killed you. Ma Das Hen naturally had confidence in his master. He also felt that this Lin Yi was just trying to scare him into admitting defeat. How could he fall for it? Hearing that Lin Yi was about to make a move, he immediately activated his golden bell shield. One move, just one move. If you don't die, it'll be my loss. Lin Yi looked at Ma Das Hen and said, all right, Lin Yi, stop talking nonsense. If you want to make a move, then hurry up. This is what you said. If you don't die in one move, it's your loss. Vaja Drill answered Lin Yi's question on behalf of Ma Das Hen. This was because Ma Das Hen was currently channeling his golden bell shield. If he spoke now, he would have to stop channeling his golden bell shield. If Lin Yi took this opportunity to launch a sneak attack, it would affect Ma Das Hen. All right. Lin Yi nodded his head. He clasped his hands together and pushed them out. Then, he shouted, Earth Rank Martial Technique, Third Form Vacuum Oscillation Fist. After doing all this, Lin Yi quickly retreated all the way to the edge of the arena. With a loud boom sound, Lin Yi's true energy bomb directly hit Ma Dashen's body. In an instant, the mountains collapsed and the earth cracked. Ma Dashen's feet landed on the ground. The entire stone arena exploded into countless small fragments. Sand and stones flew all over the sky. In an instant, Ma Dashen's body was submerged. Lin Yi's true energy bomb had used up 3/4 of his true energy. Unless Ma Das Hen had mastered the golden bell shield, it was impossible for him to survive. When he was fighting with Ma Zhu, although Lin Yi had used up all the true energy in his body, Lin Yi's strength was still there. Now, even if he used 3/4 of his true energy bomb, it was still several times stronger than before. The power of this move, even Lin Yi did not expect it to be so powerful. Before, Lin Yi and Diamond Drill were facing off against Ma Das Hen. Actually, they were all compressing the true energy bomb. When this true energy bomb was released, Lin Yi was shocked. After reaching the Earth rank, Lin Yi had never released such a powerful true energy bomb. Although he had used many true energy bombs, most of them were the kind that had been compressed for a period of time. Although they were also very powerful, they did not have such power. Although the arena was big enough, the true energy bomb brought wave after wave of power, and it still affected Lin Yi. Fortunately, this time, Lin Yi reserved 1/4 of his true energy to protect his body. So, he did not end up in the same miserable state as last time. However, even if he had true energy to protect his body, it was certain that he would be injured. The entire arena was reduced to nothingness. More and more sand and stones were flying in the sky. Everything was dark. The elders and disciples below the arena were all silent. How could Lin Yi have such power? How could he have such power? They clearly saw that Lin Yi had used the strength of an early Earth rank to activate this so-called vacuum wave fist. Theoretically speaking, this was the third style of an Earth rank martial art. No matter how powerful it was, it should not have been possible for such a thing to happen. How powerful was that? Even Sky-class masters might not be able to do that, but Lin Yi did it. The elders and sect leaders of the various sects were all protecting their disciples to prevent them from being hurt by the powerful true chi fluctuations. On the other hand, the flying sand and pebbles didn't cause much harm to the ordinary practitioners of the mystic rank anymore. Boss, this move is too powerful. Han Xiaope looked in the direction of the arena in awe and reverence. The flying sand and pebbles hadn't dissipated yet, and it was still dark over there, but the more it was like this, the more it proved the power of Lin Yi's move. Mr. Lin, you always exceed our expectations. Han Tianba laughed. To be able to receive Mr. Lin's protection is the fortune of our hidden house of Han. Be it Elder Yu, Elder Tang, or Elder Zhao, all of them looked at each other in shock. The shock that Lin Yi had brought them was far greater than the previous matches. This move of Lin Yi's was enough to make them feel inferior. Lin Yi is definitely suppressing his strength. He is not an Earth class. Elder Yu frowned after a while. That's right, when he was in the sparring earlier, he was using Earth class early phase strength, but now he's using Earth class early phase peak. He's obviously suppressing his strength to confuse us. Elder Yu said. Could it be the early Sky class? Elder Zhao said in shock. Early? Do you and I have that kind of power? Elder Tang shook his head. If the four of us work together, do we have a chance of taking him down? Elder Yu asked. It's hard to say, but if we work together, we might be able to. Elder Zhao said. Elder Tang and Elder Yu, on the other hand, did not say anything. They both had their own thoughts. What they saw was Lin Yi's rise, and what they thought was regret. They should have tried to get Lin Yi on their side, not ostracize, suppress, and assassinate him. So if it was possible, they didn't want Lin Yi to die. But the grudge was already formed. Wasn't it ridiculous to talk about getting him on their side? It seems that Lin Yi taking out 3 Earth classes with one move, one of which was at the late Earth class, was not a coincidence. Elder Yu said faintly, even if we take action, do we have the confidence to take out 3 Earth classes with one move? Chapter 21-23. Jin Gang's expression was the most terrifying. He looked at the flying sand and stones on the stage, and his heart was filled with anxiety. Previously, he thought that Lin Yi was just trying to scare him. One move. Who did he think he was, that he could kill his opponent with one move? However, after seeing the power of Lin Yi's move, he regretted not listening to Lin Yi's words and letting Ma Dashen surrender. Second place was fine too, it was better than losing. But now, there was no room for regret. So, Lin Yi's words were true? Finally, the flying sand and stones on the stage dispersed, and there was only one person left on the stage. There was only one person, and that person was Lin Yi. Ma Dashen had already disappeared, but from the scattered sand and gravel, it was clear that he had perished. Disciple. Jin Gang roared and wanted to run up the stage, but his rationality won out in the end. Lin Yi's move had completely destroyed Ma Dashen. If he went up, would he be a match for him? At that time, it would be like what Lin Yi said. If he went up and looked for a woman, then the Golden Clock Gate would really be the Golden Clock Gate. Thinking of this, Jin Gang calmed down. With Lin Yi's methods, he could not fight recklessly. He only regretted not listening to Lin Yi's words earlier. Gate Master Jin Gang, don't be impulsive. On the stage, life and death are up to the heavens. This is the rule of the previous Hidden House Summit, and no one is allowed to retaliate. Old Zhao was afraid that Jin Gang would act rashly and hurriedly reminded him. I know this. Jin Gang sighed dejectedly, as if he had suddenly aged a few years. He shook his head and sat down on the chair. His disciple had attacked, and there was no way he could stop. All that was left was a bloody mess of sand and stones. The champion of the single arena challenge has been decided. It is the Hidden Han family. Next, we'll be competing for second and third place, Old Zhao announced in a low voice. Originally, Lin Yi and Ma Dashen were supposed to be first and second place respectively. Between Rain 8 and Tang Yuyu, the third place would be decided. But with Ma Dashen gone, it was now a fight for second and third place. Rain 8 and Tang Yuyu were rubbing their palms, wanting to fight for third place. After all, third and fourth place were completely different. But now, it had become a fight for second and third place, and there was no need to fight anymore. The treatment for second and third place was the same, they could just take back their bets. As for the exchange fountain, it was entirely up to Lin Yi. If Lin Yi wanted to trade, then so be it. If Lin Yi didn't want to trade, then it didn't matter what treasures you took out. That was why Rain 8 and Tang Yu made a few symbolic gestures on the stage, and one of them admitted defeat according to their respective strength levels. Eighth brother Yu, I, Tang Yu, am not as strong as you. I will lose if we continue. I admit defeat in advance. Tang Yu cupped his fists and said. Both sides knew that fighting for second and third place was stupid. So, Tang Yu admitted defeat. Old Zhao didn't say anything. Rain 8 was stronger than Tang Yu. Even if Tang Yu was lucky enough to beat 8 Rain, it would be a huge loss. It was better to just admit defeat. The rankings have been decided. First place is the Hidden Han family, second place is the Hidden Yu family, and third place is the Hidden Tang family. Is there anyone who wishes to challenge? Old Zhao asked. Originally, those who didn't make it to the top 4 and were eliminated wanted to pick up some scraps. They wanted to see if the top 3 had exhausted themselves in the arena. Then, they would challenge them. But who would have thought that 8 Rain and Tang Yu wouldn't waste anything? They easily finished their fights, preserving their strength. They didn't seem to be exhausted at all. There was no chance of winning if they challenged them now. Those who hadn't made it into the top 4 and had been eliminated before were hoping to pick up some scraps. They wanted to see if any of the top 3 had exhausted themselves in the ring, so they could challenge them and take advantage of the situation. But who would have thought that Rain 8 and Tang Yu wouldn't waste anything, and would easily finish their fights, preserving their strength and not showing any signs of exhaustion? There was basically no chance of winning if they challenged them now. As for Lin Yi, no one wanted to challenge him. The arrogant Golden Bell clan disciple, Ma Das Hen, was a good example. Isn't your Golden Bell shield powerful? No matter how powerful you are, you'll be smashed to pieces. If there isn't, then the top 3 families can come and collect their bet. Old Zhao looked at Lin Yi with a complicated expression. Did he win again? This hidden noble house summit had become a competition specifically for Lin Yi. It was a competition for Lin Yi to show off. Lin Yi looked at the bet between House Yu and House Yu, and he paused. This was because the Hidden Tang family's bet this time was a golden elixir of energy. This type of elixir could instantly increase a person's strength in a fight. Lin Yi saw Yu Dake use one during the fight against the Monkey King. This elixir, compared to Heibao's method of increasing strength, had much less side effects and harm. After all, the side effect of using this elixir was a few days of no energy, and it would take time to recover. This elixir stimulated the potential of the human body. But after a few days, there were no more side effects, and so Lin Yi was more interested in this elixir. Lin Yi had seen the recipe and properties of this elixir in Zhongliju's notes before. The ingredients weren't expensive, but they were rare. But the price wasn't a problem for Lin Yi right now. The problem was that he didn't have the channels. Most of these ingredients were sent out by the ancient sects, and Lin Yi didn't have the channels to buy them yet. This elixir, on the other hand, didn't have that many side effects for Lin Yi. He could use the jade space to make up for the overexertion of stamina, and so to Lin Yi, this elixir's flaws were the same as having no flaws at all. What moved Lin Yi the most was that it could instantly increase the body's potential, which meant speeding up the circulation of the heart, allowing the person's strength to reach the limit. What Lin Yi was thinking was, could this elixir shorten the time he needed to compress qi into a bullet? Although the Zhen Qi tsunami bullet was very powerful, the time it took to compress it was too long. Just like today, if it wasn't for the fact that he and Ma Das Hen didn't fight for a long time, and that they didn't move at all, as well as the argument with Diamond Drill, Lin Yi definitely wouldn't have enough time to compress the qi bullet. However, other than fighting against someone like Ma Das Hen, where else would he get such an opportunity to fight against others? Whether it was Yu Shisan, who pinned Guan Xin down, or Feng Erbiang, who attacked Xu Shahan, they all attacked immediately, giving Lin Yi no time to compress the qi bullet. Chapter 21-24. Of course, this was just Lin Yi's guess. Whether this extreme vigor Golden Dan could fulfill Lin Yi's vision was yet to be verified. What do you want? I want the extreme vigor Golden Dan in your hand. Lin Yi looked at Tang Yuyu and asked. The hidden Tang family actually had a pill heart? This made Lin Yi a little surprised. It seemed like the hidden Tang family had a strong foundation. It was not surprising that the hidden Tang family had a pill. He relied on the hidden Right family and the heavenly elixir sect. Naturally, he had more advantages than the other hidden families. This extreme vigor golden dan was given to him by the hidden Right family. Using it as a wager meant that the hidden Tang family did not value it. There should be a lot of it. Since the Lin brothers want it, then I'll give it to you. Tang Yuyu smiled and said, the small rejuvenating pill in Lin brothers' hands, can you give it to me? Oh, I'll give it to you. Lin Yi was speechless. This hidden Right family always bet on things like small rejuvenating pill, meridian unblocking pill, and foundation building pill. It was obvious that they did not want to give Lin Yi anything good. They were worried about Lin Yi. However, Lin Yi's action made the Right family and Kanzi slightly stunned. Lin Yi actually used a small rejuvenating pill to exchange for an extreme vigor golden dan? Was Lin Yi sick? The extreme vigor golden dan and the small rejuvenating pill required materials of similar value. However, the small rejuvenating pill was a Huang level 2 pill, while the extreme vigor golden dan was a Huang level 1 pill. The value of the two could not be compared. Was Lin Yi sick? Using a Huang level 2 pill to exchange for a Huang level 1 pill? If Lin Yi needed the extreme vigor golden dan, then it was also unreasonable. Who would use it? Exchanging a Huang level 2 pill for a Huang level 1 pill? If he wanted to exchange, he should use something else, right? Besides, Lin Yi was an alchemist. He could refine pills by himself. There was no need to exchange at all. That was why Lin Yi's actions were baffling. Old Right Kanzi and Old Tang Kanzi had specifically informed Old Right Kanzi to place a bet on this first-grade extreme vigor golden pill. Their purpose was to make sure that after Lin Yi won, Lin Yi would like to have a look at Lin Yi. Wasn't Lin Yi unwilling to use the pill as a wager? Then he would definitely give him the pill. Of course, using a first-grade pill as a wager was already a little against the rules of the Hidden Noble House Summit. Although the level of the wager wasn't clearly stated, everyone's wager was about the same. Wasn't it a little inexcusable to take out a wager that was lower than the others? However, this time, surprisingly, no one objected because everyone had seen Lin Yi win so many matches in a row. They had long thought that the winner would be Lin Yi's family. This arena was originally agreed to be House Yu's victory, and the Golden Clock sect and the other hidden houses would throw the match. However, with Lin Yi's participation, no one threw the match. Even if they threw the match or not, it would still be Lin Yi's victory. They might as well compete in strength. As for the hidden House Yu's wager, Lin Yi didn't care about it at all. It was just a jade pillow that could support Han Lian's cultivation. It could allow the practitioner to consolidate their realm even when they were asleep. This thing was simply a support item. In a place with little qi, it had little use. It was a basic item. Lin Yi, on the other hand, entered the jade space every day to train Han Lian. This pillow was useless to him. Moreover, what good could it be if House Yu was willing to take out? After trading with Tang Yuyu, Lin Yi prepared to leave with his winnings, with Han Tianba and Han Xiaopa following behind him. The three of them left the training grounds, leaving behind a group of sighing old Khan, Kanzi, and the head of the sec. This Lin Yi used a second-level pill to exchange for a first-level pill. What's the meaning of this? After Lin Yi left, old Kanzi and Right Kanzi couldn't help but ask. This was the question they had been holding in for a long time. Who knows? Old Kanzi and Right Kanzi found it strange as well. He also felt that Lin Yi's actions were a little strange. Yuyu, do you know? Me? Tang Yuyu shook his head and smiled bitterly. To be honest, I was just giving it a try. I didn't expect brother Lin Yi to agree to it. But he did. It surprised me. That's strange. Could it be that Lin Yi urgently needs this extreme energy golden pill? Old Kanzi asked curiously. But doesn't he know how to refine it himself? Maybe. I think it's because of Tang Yun Sis. Maybe Lin Yi bro gave Tang Yun Sis face and let us exchange something good. Tang Yuyu hesitated and said. Is that so? Old Khan was surprised, But he shook his head. Because of Tang Yun? Then he didn't go easy on us in the previous matches. I know. Yu, maybe it's because of you. As long as you are in the match, Lin Yi will look at us differently. But without you, he treated us the same. I see. Tang Yu smiled bitterly. Although he was suspicious, he felt that Lin Yi didn't seem to be very close to him. At least he didn't say anything unnecessary. Forget it. Who cares what Lin Yi thinks? Old Khan of the right frowned. Old Khan of the Tang, Old Khan of the right. Could it be that you want to repair your relationship with Lin Yi? That's naturally impossible. Old Khan said. We're on the same side now. I just want Yueli Khan to use Lin Yi and get some good stuff out of him. That's more like it. Old Khan Z and Old Khan Z nodded. All right, disperse. I'm going to go back and study tomorrow's match. Lin Yi had consumed a lot of qi. Naturally, he needed to go back and recover. Although Lin Yi had released his power, it wasn't too safe here. If these people attacked him together, or if Diamond Drill lost his mind and fought with Lin Yi, then Lin Yi wouldn't have the ability to deal with it. And so, of the 36 stratagems, retreating was the best. Lin Yi decided to return to his temporary residence first. Boss, it's actually another champion. I'm both nervous and looking forward to tomorrow's duel challenge. Boss, do you think I'll cause you any trouble? Han Xiaopa asked non-stop as soon as he returned to his temporary residence. No, we'll talk about this tomorrow. I'm tired, I want to rest for a while. Lin Yi said. He sat cross-legged on the bed and activated the second stage of the Art of Dragon Mastery. He quickly recovered the qi in his body. Okay, boss, you rest. Han Xiaopa quickly nodded and said. In the blink of an eye, it was the last day of the summit. The Duel Arena Challenge was the last match of the Hidden Aristocratic Families Summit. It was said that there would be an additional match after this match, but the details had not been announced yet. With the hidden house of Han's information channels, they were unable to find out anything. Chapter 21-25. Xiaopa, for today's duel, let's just treat it as joining in on the fun. If we can win, then we'll win. If we can't, then don't force yourself. Lin Yi said, these days, we've won so many matches in a row. I'm afraid that the other hidden houses and sects will do something to us. They won't dare do anything to me for now, but we can't not let them make a move on you. If they do, just admit defeat. It's just a match, we can afford to lose. I understand, boss. Thanks for the reminder. Han Xiaopa's heated mind calmed down in an instant. Yes, he'd won a lot of matches in the past couple of days, but that was all thanks to Lin Yi's hard work, and it had nothing to do with him. Lin Yi was confident that he could win today's duel, but Han Xiaopa wasn't. He had leveled up to an Earth-class early phase, and had been practicing Lin Lian's Forest Thousand Changes for the past 2 days. However, he could only barely activate the first form, and wasn't very familiar with it yet. So with his current strength, he'd most likely be a punching bag once he went up on stage. When the time came, others would take advantage of this weakness and bypass Lin Yi to deal with him. At first, Han Xiaopa's thought was to grit his teeth and persevere no matter what, but Lin Yi's words made him understand that he couldn't be hot-headed. Otherwise, he'd be at a disadvantage. If someone killed him in the ring, there'd be no place for him to reason. Han Tianba smiled in relief. He could tell that Han Xiaopa was a little hot-headed yesterday, but he didn't want to dispel his enthusiasm. But now that these words came from Lin Yi's mouth, Han Xiaopa understood a few things. Is the head of the hidden house Han here? The first match of the day, the duel, is about to begin. Old Khan, please bring your contestant, Khan Z, and the wager to the meeting room to register and place their bets. Today's duel is a duel, so the wager is also double. The Zhao House's disciple, Khan Z, said. Double? Lin Yi's lips curled into a cold smile. It seemed like these hidden aristocratic families were waiting to make a comeback in this competition. It seemed that they had considered Han Xiaopa as the weakest link. If he could defeat Han Xiaopa in the arena, then no matter how strong Lin Yi was, it would be useless. After all, the rule of the Duel Arena Challenge was that if one of them lost or admitted defeat, then both of them would lose. Boss, it looks like they're prepared. They're planning to get their capital back at the end. After Han Xiaopa calmed down, He also realized the sinister plot of the others. It doesn't matter. It's just a double. So what if I lose? We've won enough. Lin Yi smiled and said indifferently, in comparison, this is just a drop in the ocean. You're right. We've won so many matches. Losing this little bit is nothing, Han Xiaopa said. At first, our hidden Han family's plan was to lose all the matches except for the racing competition. It's already very good, but the result is completely unexpected. It doesn't matter to us. As long as Mr. Lin thinks it's okay to give up, then there's no problem. Han Tianba laughed. The three of them chatted and laughed as they arrived at the hidden Zhao family's meeting hall. Originally, the hidden aristocratic families Kanzi and Han Zi thought that they had raised the stakes. Moreover, it was obvious that Lin Yi was at a disadvantage in this competition. Why were Lin Yi's trio still chatting and laughing? Could it be that they had some trump card? However, the trio had already arrived, and it wasn't convenient for them to discuss or research. Hence, after registering the participant list and wagers, old Khan Zhao announced, "This match is a dual arena challenge. The rules are similar to yesterday's dual arena challenge, and no exceptions will be made. The rules are similar to yesterday's dual arena challenge, and there must be 2 people on each side." Golden Bell Gates Chi Quan. At this point, the atmosphere was a little sad. The head of the Golden Bell Gate, Diamond Drill, did not come to watch the competition today, which showed how heavy his heart was. His younger brother, Han Zi, was injured. How could he participate in the competition? Old Kanzi Zhao paused for a moment, then continued, "Next, there are 8 families and sects left. The top 4 will be decided by drawing lots, and then the top 2 and 3rd place will be decided by drawing lots. The final winner will be decided from among the top 2. Just like yesterday, if you don't want to participate in the competition, you can mention it now. Otherwise, in the arena, everyone has their own destiny. Unless one party voluntarily admits defeat, it is entirely possible to put their opponent on the ground. Since it is a dual arena challenge, as long as one of the contestants from both teams gives up or admits defeat, the entire team will be the loser. In addition, no fangs or weapons are allowed in the competition. As for the other rules, there are no rules. After the top 3 have been decided, for the sake of fairness, the next 4 contestants can be given a chance to challenge. However, the person being challenged must not be their previous opponent. For example, if you have already lost to your opponent in the previous elimination round, you can't choose to challenge them again. In view of the special circumstances of the Qianshan Gate, their battle style is 1 man and 1 beast, man and beast as one. Therefore, only one person is allowed to bring 1 spiritual beast into the arena, which is considered a 2 versus 2 battle. Does anyone have any objections? This rule was the same as yesterday, and it seemed very fair. Therefore, no one raised any objections, including Lin Yi's side. Alright, since no one has any objections, then the competition will begin. We will now draw lots to decide the order of the competition. Old Kanzi Zhao nodded and said. The result of the drawing of lots surprised Lin Yi. Lin Yi's first opponent for the top 4 was actually the 2 brothers, Pai Zhishan and Pai Zhihai. This result made Lin Yi frown. Pai Zhishan and Pai Zhihai had lived together since they were young, and they did not fight for the position of the family head. Instead, they were the 2 brothers who had a relatively good relationship in the hidden aristocratic families. The 2 of them together gave Lin Yi some pressure. Of course, Lin Yi's pressure wasn't because he was afraid of the 2 brothers, but because of Han Xiaopa. If Lin Yi fought 1 versus 2, he naturally wouldn't be afraid of the 2 brothers, but he was afraid that the 2 would let him go and fight Han Xiaopa. Boss, what strategy are we going to use for this round? Han Xiaopa asked worriedly as he looked at the 2 brothers from House Pai who were smiling cunningly. When you go up later, just hide behind me. There's no need to fight, just hide however you want. Lin Yi sighed and said. Chapter 21-26. Pai Zhihai was only at the peak early phase of Earth class, while Pai Zhishan was only at the early phase of Earth class, the same level as Han Xiaopa. On top of that, he was a physical practitioner, which made him slightly weaker. Han Xiaopa was no match for his opponent. It's okay, just be careful of Pai Zhihai. Pai Zhishan is the same level as you, So you're evenly matched. Between him and Jihai, you'd rather be beaten by Pai Jishan than Jihai, Lin Yi said. Okay, I understand, boss. Han Xiaopa nodded. Pai Jihai was still holding a grudge for admitting defeat in the single arena, so he wanted to make a comeback in this duel. Elder Pai. Lin Yi stopped in his tracks and turned to look at Elder Pai. What is it? Elder Pai saw Lin Yi's eyes, and his heart skipped a beat, but he pretended to be calm. Nothing, I just wanted to tell you, one move, only one move. Lin Yi smiled, don't think that you've won just because you beat Han Xiaopa. I can take out 2 people in one move when I first get on the stage. Are you threatening me? Old man Pai's face changed. He had discussed this with Pai Jishan and Pai Jihai. Pai Jihai was confident that he could take out Han Xiaopa in one hit. That way, no matter how strong Lin Yi was, he'd have to admit defeat. Plus, from the way Lin Yi and Ma Dashen fought, it was clear that Lin Yi was very arrogant. He was the type to wait for his opponent to make the first move. This way, they could take advantage of the fact that Lin Yi hadn't made a move yet. This was why Pai Jishan and Pai Jihai were so confident. However, Lin Yi changed his strategy this time. He wanted to fight the moment he got on the stage. Elder Pai didn't expect Lin Yi to have the same idea. He couldn't help but worry. It's not a threat, but you can interpret it however you want. I'm just giving you a friendly reminder, Lin Yi said lightly. I don't want you to be as brainless as Diamond Drill. This. Old Pai's expression changed. Pai Jishan and Pai Jihai, who were about to go on stage, stopped as well. This was a blatant threat, but Pai Jishan and Pai Jihai couldn't think of anything else other than being annoyed and frustrated. If Lin Yi said it was one move, then it was one move. Putting aside the fact that Lin Yi had once killed 3 Earthrank experts with one move, Lin Yi's martial technique on the arena yesterday was enough to kill 2 people in a second. Don't think I don't know what you're thinking. Targeting Han Xiaopa? Very well, let's see who's faster. Lin Yi said faintly. Who? Elder Pai took a deep breath. But he was still the head of a house. He had a certain level of tolerance and shrewdness. Even though Lin Yi's threat made him lose face, and it was hard to make a choice, he still made his choice. Elder Pai wasn't an idiot. This double elimination tournament was agreed upon by the Hidden House Zhuang. No matter how strong the Hidden House Pai was, they could only get 2nd or 3rd place. Plus, with the Qian Shan sect, who knew if they would suddenly rise up again? Plus, with Lin Yi's side, the Hidden House Pai's chances of getting into the top 3 were very slim. So rather than being pushed out of the top 3, they might as well surrender now. After all, Lin Yi had already said this much. If the Hidden House Pai didn't come to their senses, then they'd be dead meat. If they died, people would laugh at him and say that he didn't know what was good for him. Lin Yi had already warned them, and they still wanted to fight. Wasn't there something wrong with them? Since Mr. Lin has already said this, then we, the Hidden House Pai, can only surrender. Elder Pai smiled faintly. But, the one we're afraid of is you, Mr. Lin, not Han Xiaopa. If we're talking about instant kills, we can kill one on the arena, but we don't want to lose 2 just because of one. That's not worth it. Plus, there's no point. Lin Yi nodded. That's for the best. I have a lot of enemies here, and I hope you'll make the right choice, Elder Pai. Don't regret it. Mr. Lin, I've said it before. The hatred between us is built on the Xiao family. There's no big conflict between us. I'll make sure that Xiao family doesn't mess with you. We won't have any conflicts of interest in the future, so why talk about enemies? Elder Pai laughed. He was just a physical practitioner at the early phase of Sky Class. Lin Yi could take a full power strike from a spiritual practitioner at the early phase of Sky Class, so he might be able to take a hit from Elder Pai. As long as Lin Yi could take it, then he could retaliate. That would be devastating. Elder Pai knew that he wouldn't have been able to survive Lin Yi's attack yesterday, so it didn't matter if he felt wronged or not, or if Lin Yi and his lackeys had taken out a bunch of masters in the past. All he could do was hold his nose and bear with it. This was the world of practitioners. The strong ruled. Without strength, you had to compromise, or else you'd be killed. That's good. Lin Yi nodded. Pai Jishan, Pai Jihai, Just admit defeat, Elder Pai said to his 2 grandsons. Admitting defeat in front of Mr. Lin isn't something to be ashamed of. Acting tough in front of Mr. Lin is. Yes. Pai Jishan and Pai Jihai didn't like it, but they knew that Elder Pai was speaking the truth. They had the ability to kill Han Xiaopa, but Lin Yi could kill them as well. It wasn't worth it at all. They might as well admit defeat. So, Pai Jishan and Pai Jihai cupped their fists. We're no match for Mr. Lin Yi. We admit defeat. But the Hidden House Pai's words were very artistic. They said that they would admit defeat to Lin Yi, not to the Hidden House Han. Although the result was the same, the meaning was different. Lin Yi didn't expose them, and Han Xiaopa didn't care. House Han was already on Lin Yi's side. So what? You can't eat the grapes and say that the grapes are sour. You want to be Lin Yi's lackeys, but he won't accept you. It's okay. When you have a powerful boss, Han Xiaopa, will also admit defeat. Han Xiaopa didn't feel ashamed at all. Instead, he felt proud. Elder Pai was nice to Lin Yi, but not to Han Xiaopa. He snorted and left the stage with Pai Jishan and Pai Jihai. Chapter 21-27. The other 2 arenas were still fighting intensely, and the winner had already been decided. This was quite surprising, but it was understandable that the Hidden House Pai had admitted defeat. No one called them cowards. If you wanted to call them cowards, why don't you go challenge Lin Yi? Boss, you're amazing. I was worried that I wouldn't be able to do it, but with just a few words from you, the Hidden House Pai admitted defeat. They were so cocky before, but they were just paper tigers. Han Xiaopa said excitedly. It's just luck, they insisted on fighting. Who knows? You might have gotten hurt. Lin Yi said. If I get hurt, they'll just die. As long as they're not stupid, they know what's important. Han Xiaopa didn't care. Lin Yi smiled. He didn't comment, nor did he explain further. After about half an hour, the results of the other matches were out as well. The top 4 were the Hidden House Han, the Hidden House Zhuang, the Hidden House Yu, and the Chen Mountain sect. The Hidden House Yu looked at the list of the top 4 and wanted to give up. These old men weren't idiots. Elder Yu saw that Hidden House Pai met Lin Yi and immediately admitted defeat. If they were unlucky enough to draw Lin Yi, then they'd just admit defeat. If they drew someone else, then they'd give it a try. The top 4 battles began after a short break. The order of drawing was out as well. Hidden House Han against Hidden House Zhuang, Hidden House Yu against Chen Mountain Sec. Lin Yi didn't care about this result, but the Hidden House Yu took in a cold breath. The Chen Mountain Sect's 1-man and 1-beast formation wasn't favored by the old men of the Hidden Houses. After all, they felt that a man and beast working together wasn't as good as a human working together. So, man and beast should be the easiest to deal with. Taking down one would be a win, but the battle between House Yu and Chen Mountain Sect made Hidden House Yu realize the danger. The combination of 1 man and 1 beast from the Chen Mountain Sect wasn't just for show. Their teamwork was even better than that of humans. The scariest thing was that the yellow-class middle-stage spiritual beast could actually fight against an Earth-class late-stage expert. With one slap, it could slap the Earth-class late-stage expert from the Hidden Yu family to the ground. Different spirit beasts' ranks and strengths didn't have much of a relationship. Some spirit beasts might not even be a match for a golden-class human at heaven-class, but some spirit beasts at golden-class already had very powerful battle techniques. This spirit beast from the Chenshan sect was one of them, but Lin Yi wasn't a stranger to this. Back in the tomb, the spirit beast guarding the tomb was also a yellow-class spirit beast, but it was able to beat Boss Yu to the point where he couldn't even fight back. In front of General Wei Wu, however, it was like an obedient baby. The hierarchy in the world of spirit beasts was completely different from that of human cultivators. The 2 Zhuang brothers had heard of how ferocious and powerful Lin Yi was. During the single arena challenge, his opponents kept surrendering, and today, the 2 Pai brothers surrendering as well. This made Zhuang Niaodao and Zhuang Niaopao very confused and unconvinced. Was this Lin Yi really that strong? One had to know that the 2 Zhuang brothers weren't weak either. They had been training in joint attacks since they were young. To put it bluntly, with their current joint attack strength, they wouldn't even be at a disadvantage against an early-stage Sky-class master. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that they were invincible under Sky-class. So when they first heard of Lin Yi's name and his battle record, they didn't care. After drawing Lin Yi, they didn't say much and rushed to the stage, waiting for Lin Yi to come up. Before, Zhuang Niaodao and Zhuang Niaopao didn't know who Lin Yi was because they only appeared during the Double Arena Challenge. They didn't watch any of the previous matches. Naturally, they didn't know that Lin Yi was Ling Yi from the Ice Palace test. Plus, during the match between Lin Yi and the Hidden House Pie, the Hidden House Pie surrendered. Lin Yi didn't even go up the stage. Naturally, they didn't see Lin Yi. Where is Lin Yi? Come up and accept the challenge from the two brothers of House Zhuang, Zhuang Niaopao said in a very imposing manner. Lin Yi and Han Xiaopao went to the toilet and didn't hear Zhuang Niaopao's arrogance. The battle hasn't started yet, don't be noisy, old Zhao frowned. These two brothers, Zhuang Niaopao and Zhuang Niaopao, had just eliminated the Hidden House Zhao's disciple. Although old Zhao hated Lin Yi, he didn't have a good impression of these two brothers. Brother, I think this Lin Yi doesn't live up to his name. Later, you and I will work together to hold him back, then find a chance to attack that Han Xiaopao, Zhuang Niaopao said. Of course, us two brothers working together, will be invincible. Zhuang Niaopao was also very confident. Previously, the two of them were invincible, sweeping away the two disciples of House Zhao. It was basically a complete victory, so he was very confident. That Lin Yi, is he coming or not? If he doesn't come, it's equivalent to admitting defeat. Zhuang Niaopao said impatiently. Admit defeat. Lin Yi didn't say anything, but Han Xiaopao laughed coldly. If you know what's good for you, then admit defeat. Don't lose your life. Don't blame me for not reminding you, once my boss makes a move, any expert can be eliminated. Any expert can be eliminated? Us two brothers working together, we're invincible under heaven rank. Let's see how he'll eliminate us. Zhuang Niaopao laughed coldly. Oh, is that so? Lin Yi and Han Xiaopao walked over together, looked at the two brothers and laughed coldly. What do you mean by invincible under heaven rank? When I was in mystic rank, I've already killed two people who claimed to be invincible under earth rank. Now that I'm in earth rank, I'll kill two people who claim to be invincible under heaven rank to practice. Bullsh asterisk T, eh? Zhuang Niaopao wanted to say Bullsh asterisk T, but when he saw Lin Yi's face, he immediately froze on the spot, as if he was electrocuted, and couldn't say a word. Niaopao, what's wrong? Zhuang Niaoqiang was confused when he saw Zhuang Niaopao. He followed Zhuang Niaopao's gaze and when he saw Lin Yi, he shivered and said subconsciously, Master Ling? Ling Yi had left too deep of an impression on the two brothers. Zhong Niaopao was a heaven-defying existence, and even he was crippled by Lin Yi. How could the two of them compete with Ling Yi? Zhuang Niaopao thought that even now, the two of them might not be Zhong Niaopao's match, right? The chrysanthemum art of wasp absorption was a heaven-defying existence. It sucked away the chi of others, who could withstand it. But Ling Yi could, and not only did he withstand it, he even crippled Zhong Niaopao. Chapter 21-28. And the rumors about Lin Yi made Zhuang Niaoqiang realize that Lin Yi was not a good person. He was able to cripple the strongest person under Earth class when he was Mystic class. Could he not cripple anyone under Heaven class when he was in Earth class? What's more, this Lin Yi might be hiding his true strength. He might be a Heaven class master. Thinking about this, Zhuang Niaopao and Zhuang Niaopao looked at each other. They could see the fear in each other's eyes. The arrogance from before suddenly turned into silence. If only one of them was afraid, it would be better, the other would be cheering for them. But now both of them were afraid. This was the most fatal weakness of fighting in the ring. You two, are you in a hurry to die? The Ice Palace trial didn't allow you to kill people. This is the life and death arena. Lin Yi looked at Zhuang Niaoqiang and Zhuang Niaopao and said, since you're on stage, don't go down. Master Ling, don't attack first. Zhuang Niaopao quickly jumped down from the stage as if his tail was stepped on. I'm below the stage, you can't attack me. Yes, Master Ling. Zhuang Niaoqiang also jumped down and said, we admit defeat, according to the rules, after we admit defeat, you can't attack us anymore. This turn of events made everyone dumbfounded. They didn't expect these two brothers to be so stupid. They were arrogantly boasting on stage before, but now that Lin Yi was here, they immediately jumped down from the stage and admitted defeat, as if they were afraid that Lin Yi would kill them once he got on stage. However, Zhuang Niaopao and Zhuang Niaoqiang were not ashamed at all. Instead, they felt that they had done the right thing. "Oh, since you admit defeat, then forget it," Lin Yi said. "Old man Zhao, you can announce the result. The Hidden Han family has emerged as one of the top 2 contenders." Old man Zhao announced. What made him speechless was that Lin Yi had not fought a single match since yesterday. All his opponents had admitted defeat, and admitted defeat again. "Boss, you are really impressive. The second brother of the Zhuang family was so arrogant before, but when you came, he immediately admitted defeat." "It's so funny," Han Xiaopa said. "I fought with their boss before," Lin Yi said faintly. "Ah, didn't they also have a boss? No wonder they were so arrogant. What happened to their boss?" Han Xiaopa hurriedly asked. "He's disabled," Lin Yi said. "Crippled? Boss, you didn't do it, did you?" Han Xiaopa exclaimed. "If not me, why are they begging for mercy?" Lin Yi laughed. "I see. I was wondering why these 2 arrogant bastards suddenly became so weak." Han Xiaopa nodded. When the old man of the hidden house Zhuang heard that Lin Yi was the Ling Yi from the test, he didn't have any opinion on Niaopo and Niaopo admitting defeat. He completely agreed with their decision. Since Lin Yi was so strong, there was no need to fight him head-on. On the other side, the battle between the Hidden House Yu and the Chenshan sect had come to an end as well. The Hidden House Yu had received orders from Elder Yu to preserve their strength, and so after going up the stage and realizing that there was no chance of winning, they gave up. They didn't want to risk their lives and save their strength to fight against the Zhuang brothers. Originally, the Hidden House Yu's plan was for the 2 brothers to waste a lot of their strength in the battle with Lin Yi. It would be best if they got injured. This way, they could easily defeat the 2 brothers and get 3rd place. But now, it seemed like this idea wasn't feasible. The 2 brothers were arrogant before, but after that, they pretended to be weak. What kind of logic was this? The disciples of the Hidden House Yu didn't know about the situation and thought that the 2 brothers were playing some tricks. They didn't dare to be slow and fought with the Chenshan sect for a bit before admitting defeat. They were ready to fight the Hidden House Zhuang disciples for 3rd place. The last battle for the championship, Hidden House Han against the Chenshan sect. I hope this will be the most exciting battle in this battle. Both sides are elites. I hope you won't end up losing like this. After all, everyone has high hopes for you. Old man Zhao didn't want the Chenshan sect to admit defeat again. If that happened, Lin Yi would get the championship too easily. He didn't mind saying some things to the Chenshan sect. Admitting defeat is the act of a coward. We, the Chenshan sect, will never admit defeat. The one who spoke was the direct disciple of the Chenshan sect's headmaster. His name was Wo Jindao, and he was one of the best in the younger generation of the Chenshan sect who had formed a contract with a spirit beast. He already had a certain level of communication with the spirit beast, and their teamwork was considered to be very close. Of course, this kind of spiritual beast contract was actually established by living together day and night. It was not forcefully established. It was actually a very difficult thing to obtain the recognition of a spiritual beast. One must have enough patience and make the spiritual beast have a good impression of him. Only then would he be able to establish the contract step by step and fight together. This Wo Jindao was one of the stronger ones. He could control a golden class mid-phase spirit wolf. This spirit wolf was extremely ferocious, and normal Earth-class late-phase peak experts wouldn't dare to fight it head-on. This was also Wo Jindao's pride. Last time, he brought the spirit wolf to participate in the Ice Palace trial. He wanted to shine, but he didn't expect that his own strength exceeded the requirements of the competition and was eliminated prematurely. This was a humiliation for him. So, this time, the Hidden House Summit was full of energy, preparing to make a name for themselves. The Chenshan sect's agreement was that they would win the last additional battle. But now, the situation was already messed up, and it wasn't the one-person-to-one battle situation anymore. With the addition of Lin Yi, who would win would depend on their own strength. So, the Qianshan sect also wanted to take back a champion in this duo arena challenge. When Wu Jindao finished speaking, the spirit wolf beside him also howled in agreement. Ao, boss, this guy doesn't seem to admit defeat. Han Xiaopa asked worriedly. Let's see. If it doesn't work, then we'll admit defeat. Lin Yi said. He didn't really care about winning or losing. Participating in the competition was nothing more than getting some good treasures back. No, we've already reached this stage. I can't admit defeat. Even if I have to grit my teeth and persevere, I have to persevere. Han Xiaopa gritted his teeth and made his decision. Chapter 21-29. But in terms of time, it was too late. The rules were announced on the spot. Lin Yi didn't have the time to go back to get General Wei Wu. Even if he sent someone to deliver it, it would be too late. Both sides are ready. Get into position and get ready for the match. Elder Zhao waited for Lin Yi and Han Xiaopa to get on the stage and announced, 3, 2, 1, begin. Thus, following Old Man Zhao's words, the final battle for the championship had begun. Wu Jindao didn't give Lin Yi the chance to condense the chi bomb. As soon as the battle started, he and the spirit wolf rushed towards Lin Yi and Han Xiaopa. Wu Jindao's opponent was Han Xiaopa and the spirit wolf's opponent was Lin Yi. This situation was the most sensible and difficult for Lin Yi to deal with. Wu Jindao was at the early stage of Earth class when he participated in the Ice Palace trial. Now, he was at the peak of the early stage of Earth class. His leveling speed wasn't fast. It seemed like the Qian Mountain faction focused on communicating with spirit beasts. Their personal improvement speed wasn't as heaven-defying as those hidden families. Lin Yi frowned. He couldn't let Wu Jindao hit Han Xiaopa. Even if he was at the peak of the early stage of Earth class, it would be a one-sided fight against Han Xiaopa. Thus, in a hurry, Lin Yi channeled his inner force and struck out with the second form of Wood Forest Thousand Changes. Lin Yi's other martial arts couldn't hit both of them in one move unless it was a chi bomb. But this Wood Forest Thousand Changes was different. One punch from the second form was equivalent to 2 punches. Boom boom, Lin Yi's body rushed towards Wu Jindao and the spirit wolf. Strong chi exploded and condensed on Lin Yi's fist. It transformed into 2 fists and smashed towards Wu Jindao and the spirit wolf. Originally, Wu Jindao thought that if Lin Yi wanted to attack, he could only choose one. It was either him or the spirit wolf. The spirit wolf had thick skin and flesh, so normal people couldn't get close to it. If Lin Yi went around the spirit wolf to attack Wu Jindao, then Wu Jindao could communicate with the spirit wolf and have him attack Han Xiaopa instead. This was the benefit of establishing a tacit understanding with spirit beasts. They could communicate at any time. However, Wu Jindao didn't expect that Lin Yi's one punch would turn into 2. Was there something wrong with his eyes? He didn't believe that Lin Yi's one punch could really become 2 punches. One real and one fake was a common situation in martial arts, but one turning into 2 was unheard of. It wasn't that Wu Jindao was ignorant, but he had never heard of it before. Not to mention him, even Elder Han, who possessed the Mu Lin Sen 1000 transformations, thought that this martial art was fake before Lin Yi used it. Only one punch was real, and the rest were illusions to confuse people. Only after Lin Yi used it did he realize that the one punch turned into 2 or even 3 punches. Therefore, since Wu Jindao thought this way, he made a decision in his heart. He quickly used the spirit wolf's language to communicate with the spirit wolf. Don't worry about him. Out of these 2 punches, one is real and one is fake. We'll rush over together. No matter which punch is real, we'll block it. If it's fake, we'll rush over and knock Han Xiaopa out of the ring. Awoo! The spirit wolf howled to indicate that it understood. Therefore, the man and the beast didn't slow down and rushed toward Lin Yi's martial art. Although Wu Jindao was afraid of Lin Yi's vacuum oscillation fist martial art before, Lin Yi was obviously not using that martial art. Judging from the energy fluctuations, although it was strong, it was definitely not too strong. Naturally, the second martial art naturally wouldn't be too strong. Even if Lin Yi was skilled in using it, It was impossible to reach a situation where the enemy was seriously injured in one move. At that time, he exchanged so many moves with the Earth-tier black-clothed man before killing him. Moreover, he used the third move to his limit. Bang Bang Wo Jindao and the Spirit Wolf were sent flying by Lin Yi at the same time. Although the man and the wolf weren't seriously injured, their eyes still flashed with disbelief. This disbelief wasn't about Lin Yi's strength, but about this martial art. Lin Yi clearly only threw one punch. How did it really turn into two punches? What kind of martial art was this? They had never heard of such a heaven-defying martial art, right? One punch could turn into two punches? Lin Yi sighed. This would forest 1,000 transformations. Even if he used the fourth move, other than wasting the true energy in his body, it was impossible to kill Wo Jindao and the Spirit Wolf. When facing experts of the same level, it was impossible to say that one martial art could kill the opponent. The true energy bomb was simply a golden finger, but it couldn't be used at any time. This martial art is strange. Wo Jindao quickly stood up from his fall and instructed the Spirit Wolf, "You and I don't get too close. One on the left, one on the right." Although this martial art can turn one punch into two punches, the distance can't be too far. It had to be said that this Wo Jindao's brain was very good. He immediately found the way to break Lin Yi's martial art. The arena was huge, and if they were on the left and right, Lin Yi wouldn't be able to hit both of them at the same time even if he used the fourth form of 1,000 transformations. Even if he used 4 punches, he wouldn't be able to hit both of them. Unless he could use the 10th move, it would be impossible to hit such a large area of effect attack. But this was impossible. Lin Yi didn't even want to think about it. Right now, the only thing Lin Yi could do was to protect Han Xiaopa. Therefore, Wo Jindao and the Spirit Wolf closed in from the left and right. Lin Yi also quickly retreated and stood in front of Han Xiaopa, protecting him. Awoo! The Spirit Wolf pounced on Lin Yi from the left. Han Xiaopa, die. Wo Jindao closed in on Han Xiaopa from the right. This left and right, 2 directions, made it impossible for Lin Yi to use his martial art. And this arena was circular, there was no corner at all. Whether he stood on the edge or in the middle, he couldn't use the wood forest 1,000 transformations to fight the enemy. Wild Wolf Fist. Wo Jindao swung his fist at Han Xiaopa. His martial art was a set of martial art that was compatible with the Spirit Wolf. It was a martial art that was based on the Spirit Wolf's attack method. The power wasn't too great, but it focused on the unity of man and beast. If this Wild Wolf Fist was used together with the Spirit Wolf, the power would naturally be incomparable. But if it was used alone, the difference was huge. However, in order not to fight with Lin Yi head-on and kill Han Xiaopa first, he could only separate from the Spirit Wolf. Otherwise, if the two of them were together and Lin Yi directly hit them with a killer move, they would be dead. Chapter 2130. Since Lin Yi didn't use it, he wouldn't give Lin Yi the chance to use it. He and the Spirit Wolf kept attacking separately. Although the effect was weak, it also prevented Lin Yi from using his ultimate move. If Lin Yi used his ultimate move, he and the Spirit Wolf would run. They wouldn't stand there like idiots from the Golden Bell sect and wait to be beaten. Lin Yi frowned and quickly made a decision. This Wild Wolf Fist, Lin Yi could take it head-on, but this Spirit Wolf couldn't. This Spirit Wolf's attack power was obviously very strong. Lin Yi naturally knew that this Spirit Wolf wasn't easy to deal with after dealing with offensive-type spirit beasts in the ancient tomb. Therefore, Lin Yi made a decision in an instant. He would use his back to take Wo Jindao's punch head-on, and he would use all his strength to deal with the Spirit Wolf. After making the decision, Lin Yi turned around to face the Spirit Wolf, while he and Han Xiaopa stood side by side, staring at the Spirit Wolf. Lin Yi's actions stunned Wo Jindao. What did Lin Yi mean? Leaving his back to him? Letting him attack him and let Han Xiaopa go? Although his and the Spirit Wolf's pincer attack could cause great damage to Lin Yi, Wo Jindao immediately gave up on this idea. Because attacking Lin Yi might not necessarily kill Lin Yi. Since Lin Yi could take a full blow from an early-stage Heaven Stage Master, his and the Spirit Wolf's pincer attack probably wouldn't cause too much damage to Lin Yi. So Wo Jindao changed his target to Han Xiaopa. In fact, after seeing Wo Jindao's technique, Lin Yi knew that it wouldn't be able to do much damage to him. After all, Wu Jindao's technique was far too weak compared to the Earth-class black-clothed man's technique. Wu Jindao's move was equivalent to the Heaven and Earth stage man in Black's first move. So since he couldn't kill him, Lin Yi didn't care anymore. He channeled his inner force and prepared to use the fourth form of Frenzy Fist on the spirit wolf. Ha! Wu Jindao threw a punch at Han Xiaope. Han Xiaope's heart tightened. Although he didn't know what Lin Yi was doing, out of his trust in Lin Yi, he didn't make any rash movements. He just stood there, motionless. However, Wu Jindao found it strange that when he punched, Lin Yi seemed to have eyes on the back of his head. His body directly went in the direction of his punch. In fact, Lin Yi didn't have eyes on his back, but he used the jade pendant to determine the direction of Wu Jindao. The stronger the danger warning signal, the more obvious the direction of Wu Jindao. Lin Yi didn't need to turn his head to determine it. However, Wu Jindao's skill had already been activated. It was impossible to retract it and change the direction at the last minute. He could only attack Lin Yi's back. Although attacking Lin Yi with the spirit wolf was the worst plan, Lin Yi had to attack Lin Yi first. However, at this moment, it was impossible to tell the spirit wolf to attack Han Xiaope. Although the spirit wolf had some intelligence and could communicate with Wu Jindao, it was only a mid-stage golden rank spirit beast. Its intelligence wasn't too high. It couldn't be compared to General Weiwu or Skybolt Pig. It was only the intelligence of a tomb guardian spirit beast. Although he knew how to listen to Wu Jindao's orders, it was impossible for him to make a decision on the spot. Bang! Wu Jindao's fist landed on Lin Yi's back and made a loud sound. At this time, Lin Yi moved. He used the fourth form of Frenzy Fist and attacked the spirit wolf. Bang! After Lin Yi was hit, the spirit wolf was hit as well. It was sent flying by Lin Yi's punch and fell heavily on the ground. However, this guy was really durable. The punch didn't cause any serious injury. It only struggled a little and got up. It still stared at Lin Yi with its eyes full of anger. However, Wu Jindao didn't give the next order, so it couldn't attack Lin Yi directly. Although Wu Jindao's attack wasn't as strong as the fourth form of the Earth rank man in black, Lin Yi took the attack with his back without any defense. It wasn't a fist against fist, so the damage was naturally heavier. In fact, the most important thing was that the spirit wolf's damage to Lin Yi was greater than Wu Jindao's. Lin Yi didn't know what technique the spirit wolf was using. When his fist landed on its body, the strength of the backlash was enough to make the blood in Lin Yi's chest surge up. Phut! Lin Yi couldn't bear it and spat out a mouthful of blood. The depression in his chest was spat out and he felt much better. However, the problem in front of him hadn't been solved yet. Lin Yi couldn't be careless. He used the art of dragon mastery to quickly heal the injuries in his body while he vigilantly sensed the situation of the spirit wolf and Wu Jindao. Hey! Lin Yi, you're only SOSO. You spat out blood after one move of mine. Wu Jindao was overjoyed when he saw Lin Yi spitting out blood. He raised his fist and said to the spirit wolf, "Buddy, let's continue." Under Wu Jindao's summon, the spirit wolf rushed towards Lin Yi again. Lin Yi's previous punch had already brought out the spirit wolf's blood. The spirit wolf only wanted to bite off Lin Yi's neck and kill Lin Yi. As for Wu Jindao, he wanted to test if Lin Yi would continue to block in front of him if he attacked Han Xiaope again. The previous time could be said to be a coincidence, but the second and third time couldn't be said to be a coincidence. However, this test disappointed Wu Jindao. Although Lin Yi didn't look back, Lin Yi's back seemed to have eyes. Wherever Wu Jindao's fist hit, Lin Yi's figure would appear there. Wu Jindao deliberately slanted a little this time and hit Han Xiaope's left arm. This wasn't a fatal part, but Lin Yi still blocked in front of Han Xiaope's left arm and took Wu Jindao's punch head-on. However, Lin Yi didn't care. Lin Yi's priority now was to kill or knock this spirit wolf off the stage. Wu Jindao's strength wasn't very great, but this spirit wolf was very fierce. Rather than saying that Lin Yi punched it with his fist, it was better to say that Lin Yi was going head-on with it. Therefore, Lin Yi was now surrounded by enemies. In front, he was going head-on, and behind him, he was completely open for the enemy to hit. This kind of fighting style made Lin Yi very passive and at a disadvantage, but there was nothing he could do about it. The rules of this arena were too deceptive. If he was knocked off the stage, he would lose everything. Chapter 2131. Lin Yi wiped away the blood at the corner of his mouth. This was the first time Lin Yi had encountered such a fearful battle, and it was incomparably frustrating. He wasn't this careful even when he was protecting Meng Yaro, Yu Shu, Shahan, or Cheng Yi. After all, Meng Yaro, Yu Shu, and the others could run, but Han Xiaopa couldn't. He had to stay in the ring, and if he ran out of the ring's range, it would be the same as admitting defeat. In order to prevent Han Xiaopa from getting kicked out of the ring, Lin Yi could only keep protecting him. How is it? Lin Yi, it doesn't feel good fighting a spirit wolf, does it? Wu Jindao saw Lin Yi spit out blood again and laughed. My spirit wolf has copper muscles and iron bones, it's one of the best attack-type beasts. It doesn't show any weakness even when fighting a sky-class early phase. Waha, Lin Yi, if you don't admit defeat, then just wait for your death. One couldn't blame Wu Jindao for being arrogant. There weren't many young disciples like him in the Qian Mountain sect who could establish a contract with such a battle-type spirit beast. Furthermore, his spirit beast was the best of the best, so he was naturally full of confidence when facing an enemy. Plus, Lin Yi had been talked about like a god before, saying how strong he was, but when he got to the ring, he found out that he could only take a beating. How could Wu Jindao not be full of confidence? Lin Yi frowned and didn't say anything, thinking about the value of this battle. His eyes glanced at the elders and sect masters below the ring. Seeing their gloating eyes, Lin Yi knew that if he admitted defeat now, then the fear these elders had for him from the previous matches would disappear. So Lin Yi gritted his teeth. No matter what, he had to hold on. If he really couldn't do it, then he would admit defeat. It doesn't matter, let's see if your spirit wolf dies first or if I die first. Lin Yi took advantage of the moment Wu Jindao said those words to speed up his chanting, healing the injuries in his body. Spirit wolf, this time you pretended to attack Lin Yi, but you were actually attacking Han Xiaopa. And I'll attack Lin Yi. Wu Jindao muttered to himself for a moment and decided to change tactics. However, he spoke in a language that only the spirit wolf could understand, so Lin Yi naturally did not understand. This time, Wu Jindao imagined that if Lin Yi used his back to receive his fist, Lin Yi would stand still and block it. Since the spirit wolf was attacking Han Xiaopa, it was impossible for Lin Yi to fight the spirit wolf head-on. After all, the spirit wolf's target this time was not Lin Yi, but Han Xiaopa. It was impossible for him to go after Lin Yi. Although Lin Yi couldn't understand Wu Jindao's words, after Wu Jindao punched out, Lin Yi immediately noticed the difference in the jade pendant's warning signal. His heart trembled slightly. Wu Jindao was attacking him this time? Looking at the spirit wolf again, it was indeed rushing towards Han Xiaopa. Therefore, Lin Yi made a prompt decision and turned around to block Han Xiaopa's back, letting the spirit wolf directly pounce on him. Wu Jindao noticed that Lin Yi suddenly turned around. He was also stunned, but his fist did not stop. He was not a spirit wolf, so his thinking was naturally not as old-fashioned as the spirit wolf. Seeing that Lin Yi went to block the spirit wolf, Wu Jindao immediately changed his target and went straight for Han Xiaopa. Lin Yi also saw this situation. He directly pushed Han Xiaopa out, then used the first form of Frenzy Fist to meet Wu Jindao. Wu Jindao had already made his move, so it was impossible to change his target. He directly met Lin Yi's first form of Frenzy Fist head-on. Phut! Wu Jindao's physical fitness was not as strong as the spirit wolf. Just the first form of Frenzy Fist was enough to make Wu Jindao vomit blood. He mainly relied on the cooperation between man and beast in battle. If he was alone, he would be much weaker. At the same time, the spirit wolf also directly hit Lin Yi's back. With a loud sound, Lin Yi's internal organs were all dizzy. Cough cough. Lin Yi realized that the spirit wolf's attack was much more serious than Wu Jindao's attack. However, it was much more serious than Wu Jindao's attack. This spirit wolf's attack power was not one bit inferior to the Earth Stage black-clothed man he had met that day. Although, compared to the previous competition, the power of the Heaven Stage was much weaker. But it was already too much for the injured Lin Yi. However, Lin Yi did not care about the spirit wolf. Without stopping, he used the second form of frenzy fist and smashed it towards Wo Jindao. Lin Yi also saw that Wo Jindao could establish contact with the spirit wolf through the specialized beast language. Whoever the spirit wolf attacked was completely ordered by Wo Jindao. Since he found this pattern, then Lin Yi locked his target on Wo Jindao. As long as Wo Jindao did not change his order, this spirit wolf would not be smart enough to turn around and attack Han Xiaopa. It would definitely attack him. Therefore, Lin Yi did not intend to give Wo Jindao a chance to communicate with the spirit wolf. After dealing with Wo Jindao, the spirit wolf was naturally nothing to be afraid of. Boom! The second form of frenzy fist once again hit Wo Jindao. He did not expect Lin Yi's martial arts to be continuous. He did not give him a chance to communicate with the spirit wolf at all. Wo Jindao once again vomited a large mouthful of blood. His face was a little pale. Just as he was about to say something, he realized that Lin Yi's fist was attacking again. Wo Jindao was shocked. He quickly used his mental cultivation to activate his martial arts to resist. The third form of frenzy fist against the third form of wild wolf fist. Wo Jindao was naturally at a disadvantage. The wild wolf fist was not as superior as the frenzy fist. This martial arts technique would only be at its greatest power when used in conjunction with the spirit beast. Moreover, Lin Yi's frenzy fist was cultivated to the extreme. Wo Jindao was once again pushed back. He vomited a few mouthfuls of blood and could not speak. In fact, even though Wo Jindao was in a miserable state, Lin Yi was not much better. The spirit wolf was like a dead man. It continuously attacked Lin Yi's back. Lin Yi's spine was almost broken by it. If it was not for Lin Yi gritting his teeth and holding on, he would probably be in a terrible situation. The fourth form of frenzy fist. Wo Jindao saw that Lin Yi did not stop and actually activated an even stronger martial arts technique. A hint of fear flashed through his eyes. The fear of death caused him to instantly explode with a shocking potential. He ordered the spirit wolf, "Use your strongest move, human-beast unification." Wo Jindao could not care about letting the spirit wolf attack Han Xiaopa. He had a feeling that if Lin Yi's move hit him again, he might not live to see tomorrow's sun. Therefore, he summoned the spirit wolf and sacrificed both his and the spirit wolf's cultivation to use the Qianshan sect's strongest secret technique, human-beast unification, Heavenly Earth Wild Wolf Transformation. Chapter 2132. In other words, once this technique was used, Wo Jindao would become a mystic class master, and the spirit wolf would turn from a yellow class spirit beast to a normal spirit beast. As a result, this move wouldn't be used unless it was absolutely necessary. But now was the last resort, because Wo Jindao had been forced into a corner by Lin Yi, and there was nowhere to hide. Even if he wanted to escape the stage, it would be impossible. Of course, the most important thing was that he didn't want to admit defeat just like this. He had already wasted so much energy. If he admitted defeat just like this, then it would be a huge joke. Plus, he had already said those crazy words before. He couldn't afford to lose face like this. Hence, he was willing to sacrifice his strength in order to kill Lin Yi in one move. Man and beast as one was the strongest secret technique of the Qian Mountain sect, combining the power of man and beast together, bringing it to the extreme. Right now, the spirit wolf's attack power was no less than that of a peak late phase Earth class practitioner. If he added his golden knife, it would be equivalent to a peak late phase Earth class practitioner and a peak early phase Earth class practitioner. This was a completely different thing from two practitioners attacking at the same time. This was the superposition of Zhen Qi, which could instantly reach the power of a peak early phase heaven class practitioner. Because of this technique was hailed as a secret technique by the Qian Mountain sect, and it wouldn't be used easily, only at critical moment. Wo Jindao didn't believe that Lin Yi could survive this technique. Even if he was lucky enough not to die, his meridians and bones would be broken, he would become a cripple, even a third-level pill wouldn't be able to save him. So he made up his mind to use this ultimate technique. Hearing Wo Jindao's call, the spirit wolf stopped attacking Lin Yi, but suddenly jumped up, jumping on top of Wo Jindao's head, letting out a sharp wolf howl. Wo Jindao's mouth was also silently chanting a mantra. This man and wolf suddenly flashed a golden light, then became incomparably red, as if they were being reflected by the setting sun, human and beast as one world wild wolf transformation. Following Wu Jindao's roar, his eyes flashed with a strange green light. His entire body seemed to have turned into a fiery red giant wolf. He clasped his hands together and raised them high above his head, perfectly placing them on the spirit wolf's head. Then, as though he was accumulating strength, he quickly smashed towards Lin Yi. Frenzy Fist, fourth form. Lin Yi was also like an arrow on a bowstring that had to be released. Although he smelled a hint of danger, Lin Yi could only bite the bullet and go forward. If Lin Yi dodged at that moment, then the power of Wu Jin Saber's move would very likely affect Han Xiaope, who was not far away. Lin Yi could withstand the power of this move, but Han Xiaope definitely could not. Lin Yi's last move, Frenzy Fist, was also to deal a fatal blow to Wu Jindao. Otherwise, Lin Yi would not have used the first move all the way to the last move. This was because the martial skill that was used all the way was much more powerful than a single martial skill. Previously, Wu Jindao's strength was inferior to the Earth Stage black-clothed man. Lin Yi was confident that he could put him to death. Lin Yi had already seen Wu Jindao's insidiousness, so Lin Yi did not intend to keep this scourge alive. Since the Chenshan sect had already gone all out, then Lin Yi could only offend them to the death. Boom! There was a loud sound as if a landmine had exploded. The place where the two people's fists collided formed a huge vortex of true energy that instantly exploded in all directions. Whether it was Wu Jindao, the spirit wolf, or Lin Yi, they were all pushed back by the true energy produced by the explosion. Wu Jindao only felt a powerful true energy that was as powerful as a volcanic eruption enter his body, wantonly destroying his meridians and internal organ. He did not believe that the fourth style of Lin Yi's Frenzy Fist could produce such great power. After all, when Lin Yi used the fourth style of Frenzy Fist against the spirit wolf, Wu Jindao had observed it before. It was definitely not this powerful, but the power of Lin Yi's move far exceeded the fourth style he used before. Could it be? Wu Jindao suddenly thought of a possibility. He had heard before that there were some martial skill geniuses who could use martial skills continuously. From the first style all the way to the next style, the power of each style would gradually increase. But this method was limited to martial skill geniuses and high-grade martial skills. If they could not even bring out the normal power of the martial skill and could not use it skillfully, how could they talk about using it continuously? Could it be that Lin Yi was a martial skill genius? But, how could he be so weak? Wu Jindao felt that he was going to die. His internal organs were burning, and his meridians were breaking. He could even foresee his end. That's right. Wu Jindao once again thought of something that made him regretful. When he and the spirit wolf used human-beast unite, although the power of their attacks greatly increased, their own strength would drop. He, Wu Jindao, became a peak early phase mystic class, and the spirit wolf had already dropped out of the golden class, becoming a normal spirit beast. This way, their body's defense would also drop. So that's how it is. Wu Jindao was not willing to accept this. He regretted using this human-beast unite technique earlier, and not waiting for Lin Yi to finish the first, second, and third styles before using it. If he was one step earlier, even if he was one step faster, this wouldn't be the outcome today. Could it be that this match was destined to end in mutual destruction? Wu Jindao was not willing. He was not willing. It was as if he had returned to his childhood, relying on the spirit wolf as companions, torturing his opponents under his feet again and again, becoming the spirit wolf's food. But all of this had become so close yet so far away. He used the last of his strength to open his eyes, wanting to look at his old companion, but all he saw was a headless spirit wolf. The spirit wolf's body had already been destroyed by Lin Yi's fourth style of Frenzy Fist. A spirit beast without a rank was no longer a spirit beast. It was just a normal animal that had the qualifications to level up to become a spirit beast. So, under the tyranny of Lin Yi's fourth style of Frenzy Fist, it had already become a dead wolf. The biggest use of human-beast unite was to single-handedly kill the opponent, and not to fight head-on with the opponent. Wu Jindao remembered what his master had told him before. When using human-beast unite, he had to be careful not to fight head-on with the enemy, because that would be mutual destruction. Chapter 2133. But now, He remembered everything. He felt that his body was very, very light, and the burning sensation in his internal organs was also getting weaker and weaker. It was as if he had once again returned to the bloody era when he brought the spirit wolf to sweep through his opponents and let the spirit wolf devour the corpses of his opponents. Wu Jindao, dead. Spirit wolf, dead without a complete corpse. Dower. Sect Master Wu let out a mournful roar and rushed over to hug Wu Jindao's corpse. However, it was already too late. Wu Jindao was actually Sect Master Wu's nephew. He didn't have any children, so he treated his nephew as his own. He worked hard to raise him, but he never told him about this familial love. Now that Wu Jindao was dead, sect leader Wu regretted it endlessly. He shouldn't have let Wu Jindao fight against Lin Yi. If he had known that Lin Yi was so powerful, why would he have stood out? So many hidden families' disciples, were they all idiots? Zhuang Niaopao and Zhuang Niaoqiang, Pai Jishan and Pai Jihai, were they all idiots? Why did they admit defeat? Wasn't it because they were afraid that Lin Yi wouldn't be able to beat Lin Yi? And his nephew, Wu Jindao, was able to beat him? Lin Yi, this old man swears that I will kill you. Sect leader Wu looked at the arena and said through gritted teeth. In the arena, Lin Yi didn't have it easy either. After falling heavily to the ground, he realized that he had underestimated the power of Wu Jindao's human-beast unity. That move was even more powerful than the initial stage heaven-rank powerhouse's attack from the previous match. Lin Yi felt his bones, meridians, and organs all shatter. He had to admit that Wu Jindao was the most dangerous opponent he had encountered since entering Earth class. Whether it was Blue Hair, Right 13, or the Earth class man in black, none of them made Lin Yi feel so defeated. Although the battle with Wu Jindao looked simple and not complicated, it was still frightening. Right now, Lin Yi was using his true qi to keep himself alive. If it were any other practitioner, they would have died the moment their true qi ran out. Fortunately, Lin Yi had the art of dragon mastery, a heaven-defying technique that could heal himself. Therefore, after Lin Yi fell to the ground, he didn't rush to get up. Instead, he activated the second stage of the art of dragon mastery and quickly healed his internal injuries. Fortunately, Lin Yi left some true qi in his body. Otherwise, even if his injuries slowly healed, his meridians wouldn't be able to heal. It would be the same result as when he fought with Ma Zhu. Han Xiaopa also wanted to go and see Lin Yi, but old Master Han stopped her with a wave of his hand. He shook his head slightly. If Lin Yi was still alive and was recuperating, then it was best not to touch him. If he was already dead, then there was no point in going. They had to consider the future of the hidden Han family. However, Han Xiaopa was still very worried as he walked to Lin Yi's side. However, when he saw that Lin Yi was still alive, he was relieved. Wu Jindao, Lin Yi, can you still stand up? Old Master Zhao saw that there was no movement in the arena. He didn't know if Lin Yi was dead, so he asked, if both sides perished, then both sides would be losers in this match. In old Master Zhao's heart, he wanted Lin Yi to die. If Lin Yi died, then there was no need to compete in the last match. It would be clean. As for Wu Jindao, old Master Zhao didn't have any thoughts about it. If he died, then so be it. It had nothing to do with his hidden Zhao family anyway. My boss is recuperating. Daimaya *S. Han Xiaopa said angrily, can't you see that he is still breathing? Hurry up and announce the winner. Lin Yi had just repaired the damaged bones in his body. He could barely sit up. He sat cross-legged on the arena, his eyes still closed as he quickly chanted the mantra to heal himself. His injuries were too serious at the moment. Lin Yi had to be treated as soon as possible. There was no time to waste. Did you see that? My boss has risen. Han Xiaopa was overjoyed. He continued, even if that Wu Jindao is still alive, his spirit wolf is dead. Moreover, we knocked him off the stage. Boss and I are still in the arena. When old Master Zhao saw that Lin Yi wasn't dead, a trace of disappointment flashed across his eyes. However, he still followed the rules and announced, the final champion of the two-man arena challenge is the Hidden Han family, Qianshan Gate. Old Master Zhao looked at Gate Master Wu with a questioning gaze. If Wu Jindao didn't die and only one of his spirit beasts died, then he could still be the second place in the match. However, If both of them died, then it would be considered as a forfeit. Lin Yi, I'm going to kill you. It would have been better if Old Master Zhao didn't mention it. Now that he asked, Gate Master Wo was enraged. Looking at Lin Yi on the arena, his eyes were spewing fire. He let out a weird cry and wanted to jump onto the arena to kill Lin Yi. Gate Master Wo, don't be rash. Old Master Yu, who was next to Gate Master Wo, pulled him back and whispered, if you want to take revenge, you can't do it now. The Hidden Family's summit has always been watched by the ancient people. Fists and kicks have no eyes in the arena. Life and death are fated by fate. If Gate Master Wo makes a move, then you'll be breaking the rules. Phew, Gate Master Wo calmed down after hearing Old Master Yu's words. He nodded and said, then I'll let that little bastard Lin Yi live for a while. In the afternoon's additional match, I'll definitely kill him. That's right. If we kill him during the match, no one will be able to find fault with it. Old Master Yu nodded. Old Master Zhao, my disciple Wo Jindao has already. Gate Master Wo sighed, the Qian Mountain Gate will withdraw from this battle. Old Master Zhao nodded and announced the results. The Qian Mountain Gate will withdraw from the third-place match between the Hidden House Zhuang and the Hidden House Yu will be upgraded to the second and third-place match. On this side, since Old Master Zhao had announced the withdrawal of the Qian Mountain Gate, the Hidden House Yu and the Hidden House Zhuang naturally changed from a life-and-death battle to a slow sparring session. The disciples of the Hidden House Yu saw that the two Zhuang brothers were indeed strong, so they didn't want to continue fighting. They cupped their fists and said, the two Zhuang brothers are indeed famous. We admit defeat. At this time, the second and third place were almost the same. Who would be willing to fight for this? Lin Yi took first place and completely messed up the internal order. Since they couldn't get first place, second and third place were almost the same. Hehe, thank you for letting me win. Zhuang Niaoqiang cupped his fists and said. He actually didn't want to fight anymore. The Hidden House Zhuang and the Hidden House Yu didn't have any personal grudges. There was no need for the two houses to fight. If the Hidden House Yu didn't admit defeat, Zhuang Niaoqiang wanted to admit defeat as well. After all, the second and third place had already become Lin Yi's background. They didn't have the glory of being in the top 3 of the previous Hidden House Summit. Chapter 2134. Everyone's only thought was that the meeting should end as soon as possible, so that they wouldn't embarrass themselves. Second place is the Hidden House Zhuang, third place is the Hidden House Yu. Elder Zhao said, the houses after fourth place have a chance to challenge each other. Is there anyone who wants to challenge? This challenge made the two brothers of House Pai's heart skip a beat. Now that Lin Yi was injured, if they challenged the first place, would they win? Or would Lin Yi be injured and surrender? Thinking of this, Pai Zhishan looked up at Old Pai. Elder Pai knew what Zhishan was thinking from his eyes. He sighed and shook his head. Zhishan, our Hidden House Pai is weak, and we can't handle this. From what I see, I'm not a match for that Lin Yi. If Lin Yi surrenders now and takes revenge later, our Hidden House Pai will be finished. Yes, Grandpa, I was too impulsive. Zhishan's heart skipped a beat, thinking of this possibility. Yes, Lin Yi might surrender now, but that moment of happiness would bring about the destruction of their house. Looking at the spirit wolf and Wo Jindao's state, Zhishan didn't doubt that Lin Yi could destroy their Hidden House Pai. Just his grandpa, a sky-class early-phase physical practitioner, wouldn't be able to stop Lin Yi's power. Enemies don't have to be enemies forever. He doesn't have any family feud with House Pai. Our House Pai only lost some normal disciples and distant relative. Elder Pai said faintly, look at the Hidden House Yu. Their chi-gathering pill was stolen, and the common House Yu was destroyed. Aren't they enduring it too? Yes. Zhishan nodded, but then thought of something else. He lowered his voice. That Lin Yi, can he last past the extra round in the afternoon? Would the Gan Mountain sect's Wo Master let Lin Yi go back alive? Even if we win against Lin Yi, we still need Lin Yi's life to take revenge, right? Zhishan, if you want to be the head of the family, you need to have a long-term and cautious vision. You can't be arrogant, and you can't do risky things. Don't touch anything that might cause the family to be doomed eternally. Elder Pai said, our Hidden House Pai isn't the strongest hidden house, but we're the most stable. Why is that? This is because we seek development through stability, different from those clans that seek wealth through danger. Before, when Lin Yi's lackey killed Jin Wudi, you made the right decision to rush back to the family. But today, why did you let the stakes get to your head? This. Pai Zhishan's forehead was covered in cold sweat. Yes, these few days, he was really driven mad by the bet. Look, before any match, who would be optimistic about Lin Yi? But the result? Elder Pai said, what's the point of the bet? As long as our hidden house Pai doesn't fall, we can still find it slowly. But once we offend that Lin Yi, do you think we'll stop? Even if Lin Yi dies and his lackey comes to beat us up, who can take it? Yes. Zhishan thought of Gauden's power and quickly nodded. Grandpa, I understand. If Lin Yi doesn't die this time, this will be fun. Old Pai looked at Han Tianba not far away and said with envy, the hidden house of Han is so lucky. The ranking of the double arena challenge is out. The champion is the hidden house Han, the second is the hidden house Zhuang, and the third is the hidden house Yu. Please come up to the stage to claim your winnings. Elder Zhao said. Although Lin Yi was healing himself, they couldn't delay the others just because of Lin Yi. They still had to go through the process of claiming their winnings. So this time, Hidden House Han was the same as the other houses. Han Tianba came to claim his winnings, but he didn't know if Lin Yi needed the Hidden House Zhuang and House Yu's treasures, so he didn't dare make the decision to trade. He took a look and realized that the treasures that Hidden House Zhuang and House Yu took out were from their own treasure vaults. If Lin Yi needed it, then he could just take it from their vaults. There was no need to trade with them, so he just took the winnings from Lin Yi. Elder Han, it seems like you don't have the right to trade with us. TSK, I wonder if it's you or Lin Yi who's in charge of the hidden house Han Tianba? Elder Zhuang said with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. This was supposed to be the champion of hidden house Zhuang, but it was taken by Lin Yi. He wasn't happy about it and wouldn't let go of any chance to make fun of him. Mr. Lin, of course. Han Tianba smiled and said, our hidden Han family is under Mr. Lin's leadership. Is there a problem? Han Tianba didn't think it was humiliating at all. Instead, it was like he was talking about something glorious, pointing out Lin Yi's position in the hidden house. You are giving up. Seeing that his provocation had failed, old Master Zhuang snorted resentfully. Some families say the grapes are sour because they can't eat them. I understand. Han Tianba laughed. Han Tianba and Elder Zhuang were at loggerheads. The other elders seemed to be chatting, but they were all looking in the same direction, at Lin Yi on the stage. Especially sect leader Wall. He felt that it was impossible for Lin Yi to survive. With the human beast unite, he could defeat enemies of a higher level. He could even kill a peak early stage heaven-ranked master. How could he not kill Lin Yi? Although a few cultivators had not used up their true qi and could use it to prolong their lives, Lin Yi should be dead by now. These people wanted to see how Lin Yi was doing. Was he dead? Was he injured or disabled? So they were supposed to go back for lunch, but they didn't want to leave. If Lin Yi couldn't make it, not only would he lose the championship, these people would definitely hold a banquet to celebrate. Especially the hidden house Zhuang. It was like regaining the championship after losing it. Lin Yi was in the jade space, but he knew what was going on outside. He knew what these people were thinking, so he didn't dare to be careless. He quickly used the art of dragon mastery to heal himself. His injuries were too serious this time. There wasn't a single part of his body that wasn't injured. Chapter 21:35. Lin Yi had to return to normal and appear in front of these people. Otherwise, not only would he be in danger, the hidden Han family would be in danger too. Although these people couldn't do anything to him on the surface, they would definitely have other tricks up their sleeves. So Lin Yi had to work extra hard to heal his injuries as soon as possible. These people were all harboring evil intentions, especially the Qian Mountain faction's Wo faction leader, who couldn't wait to kill Lin Yi. Lin Yi had to be on guard against this old thing trying to assassinate him in the middle of the night. If he teamed up with the Golden Clock faction's Diamond Drill to deal with him, then he really had to be on guard. Bones and internal organs had all been repaired by Lin Yi. Next was the meridians. This was also the first time Lin Yi had used the second stage of the Art of Dragon Mastery to remodel his body. What surprised Lin Yi was that the bones and internal organs repaired by the second stage of the Art of Dragon Mastery were clearly different from before. They were much sturdier than before. Just like when he used the body-tempering elixir to refine his body, Lin Yi could already feel the difference in his body. But after this full recovery, Lin Yi felt the difference again. This situation made Lin Yi very surprised. Jiao Lao, my body seems to have become sturdier after the second stage of the Art of Dragon Mastery. Lin Yi asked secretly. I'm also observing. Jiao Yazi said, according to my memory, the second stage of the Art of Dragon Mastery is indeed more magical than the first stage. It's not surprising that you're stronger than the first stage after using the second stage to repair your body. You've really profited from a disaster this time. Ever since I started practicing the second stage of the Art of Dragon Mastery, this is the first time I've been completely injured. Previously, whether it was against the Earth-class men in black or during the combat, there had never been a situation where his entire body was broken. So this time, it was a bit like the legendary breaking and rebuilding. Could it be the benefit of the second stage of the Art of Dragon Mastery? But the Art of Dragon Mastery didn't mention it. If that's the case, it's really a blessing in disguise. Lin Yi nodded. But why didn't the Art of Dragon Mastery mention it before? I don't know. One possibility is that my memory hasn't fully recovered. I know, but I can't remember. Jiao Yazi said straightforwardly. There's another possibility, which is that Grand Marshal Uncle doesn't know either. After all, this is an ancient mantra that no one has cultivated before. Grand Marshal Uncle made some cultivation plans based on his own speculation. I see. Lin Yi nodded. The meridians were finally repaired by Lin Yi. However, the repaired meridians were much thicker than before. This situation surprised and delighted Lin Yi. The thicker meridians meant that they could absorb more true qi. In this way, their strength would also increase. After the meridians were repaired, Lin Yi began the journey of recovering his strength. Lin Yi had used up too much true qi and stamina, so he needed to replenish it. However, when Lin Yi was about to replenish his true qi, his face suddenly changed. Lin Yi was shocked to find that he was about to break through. From the looks of it, after his meridians were repaired, they became thicker, and after absorbing more true energy, there were signs of a breakthrough. If Lin Yi were to rush up now, he might very well break through to Earth-class mid-phase. But Lin Yi was hesitating. Breaking through was something worth celebrating. Lin Yi had just broken through to Earth-class early phase peak not long ago, and now he was about to break through to Earth-class mid-phase. This speed made Lin Yi very satisfied. Of course, part of it was Wang Xinyan's contribution that allowed Lin Yi to basically reach the barrier of Earth-class early phase peak, but the injury this time and the repair of his meridians were very important. So if you thought about it carefully, this sign of a breakthrough this time was actually not too strange. The problem was that breaking through here would expose Lin Yi's trump card in front of everyone. At that time, everyone would know that Lin Yi only had the strength of Earth-class mid-phase, not some Sky-class suppressive strength. This way, the mysterious pressure that Lin Yi had created for the elders and sect masters would no longer exist. From their point of view, Lin Yi only had some trump cards and luck, it was not strength at all. To be honest, if the current Lin Yi were to go head-to-head with a Sky-class early phase master, there was absolutely no chance of winning. Even if a Sky-class early phase master fought Lin Yi, if he didn't die in one move, he would definitely die in two. This was why Lin Yi was in a dilemma right now. Should he break through in one go, or should he stop and look for an opportunity in the future? This was a question that kept going around in Lin Yi's mind, but he couldn't make up his mind right now. After all, breaking through was a rare opportunity, and to a practitioner, other than those rare geniuses or inheritors, not everyone would be able to break through after reaching the bottleneck like it was when the conditions were right. Stopping at a bottleneck and looking for a breakthrough required opportunity and enlightenment. This was also why the hidden house you wanted the chi-gathering pill so badly. After all, little Chen Yu had been stuck at Earth-class late-phase peak for a long time now. So, if Lin Yi stopped now and didn't break through because he was full of energy and stamina, then when would he be able to break through again? After all, this kind of opportunity couldn't be created, And it wasn't something that could be broken through just because you wanted to. When Lin Yi was stuck at Mystic Late Phase Peak, he had experienced this firsthand. He had no choice but to use the chi-gathering pill to force a breakthrough. Whatever, he'd give it his all. Lin Yi clenched his teeth. So what if they knew his background? He still had a trump card that he hadn't used yet. If those sky-class old men were to team up with others to kill Lin Yi, then Lin Yi wouldn't just stand there and do nothing. With that thought, Lin Yi once again increased the speed of the second stage of the Art of Dragon Mastery. When he was thinking, he purposely slowed down the speed of the chant, but he didn't stop. He was afraid that if he stopped, he wouldn't be able to break through again. In an instant, a large amount of pure energy flowed from the jade space into Lin Yi's body, and the energy of heaven and earth around Lin Yi was also channeled over, forming a huge chi whirlpool above Lin Yi's head. Chapter 2136. Unless he couldn't break through anymore and used compressed chi to help someone else break through, only then would there be this kind of energy ripple. This happened in the tomb when he helped Yutian and Lingshan break through to Mystic as well. Of course, now that Lin Yi was Earth class, this would only happen when he compressed chi to break through to Earth class. It was just that Lin Yi hadn't found a way to help people break through to Earth class yet. Otherwise, Lin Yi wouldn't have gotten so many chi gathering pills at this meeting. Boss is breaking through? Han Xiaopa saw this and was shocked. He quickly stood in front of Lin Yi, as if he was going to protect Lin Yi with his life. Han Tianba saw this and jumped in front of the stage, standing in front of Lin Yi. Tang Yuyu, on the other hand, slowly walked up to the stage after a painful internal struggle. Elder Tang frowned, raising his hand to stop Tang Yuyu, but put it down and sighed, not stopping him. You! What are you doing? Tang Yuyu's arrival gave Han Xiaopa a fright, thinking that he was going to harm Lin Yi. After all, the hidden house Tang had always been against Lin Yi. I'm here to help protect him. Tang Yuyu's feelings were complicated. Lin Yi was his brother-in-law, and during this meeting, Lin Yi had always sided with him. Tang Yuyu couldn't just sit back and do nothing. Elder Tang, this grandson of yours doesn't seem to be able to tell friend from foe? Elder Yu said faintly as he looked at Tang Yuyu. Blindly loyal, unable to tell friend from foe. This child. Elder Tang felt that Tang Yuyu was giving House Tang a ray of hope, but on the surface, he shook his head. In-law, you know. Yuyu. He's not like his father at all. Elder Tang, does that mean you're like me? Tang Yuyu's father was Elder Yu's daughter, Yu Xiaoshan. Although a married daughter was like spilled water, the relationship between Tang Yuyu and his hidden Yu family was not very big. There was still some relationship after all. Therefore, Tang Yuyu's actions made old Master Yu very helpless. He couldn't say too much about his own grandson, right? Grandfather Tang shook his head and did not dwell on the topic. Instead, he asked, have you seen through Lin Yi's strength? He's breaking through the peak early phase of Earth class and is about to rush into the middle phase of Earth class. Old man, you didn't say anything, but Old man Zhao spoke first. Could it be that we've been wrong? That Lin Yi is just an Earth class early phase peak? Elder Yu frowned, finding it hard to believe. How can he tell that he's an Earth class mid-phase peak? Sect leader Wo said hatefully, my disciple and the spirit wolves, man-beast unite, consummate skill can even resist a peak early heaven class master. This Lin Yi is an Earth class peak early Earth class master, and is not dead yet? That's what I'm curious about as well. Old man, you didn't confirm nor deny it. He just said calmly, but looking at his current situation, he is indeed breaking through to the middle phase of Earth class. Most of the people here are spiritual practitioners, so they should be able to feel it, right? That's right. Elder Yu nodded, the feeling should be correct. He is breaking through to the middle phase of Earth class early phase peak, but I don't really understand. If this Lin Yi is really that weak, then there will be plenty of opportunities for revenge in the future. Heh! Old man Zhao laughed evilly. This Lin Yi has some trump cards. When he was mystic, he could kill anyone below Earth class, and when his Earth class, it's not hard to kill anyone below Sky class, but if multiple Earth class peak late phase peak fight him at the same time, I'm afraid. Did you forget that Lin Yi killed Ma Dashan with that killer move? Old man, you said, that move. Don't talk about multiple Earth class late phase peak. Even if there was a Sky class, they wouldn't be able to escape unscathed. They would probably be injured. It would be great if we could take advantage of this moment to kill him. Unknowingly, Jin Gang had also arrived behind these few people and spoke faintly. There was a hint of instigation in his words. Kill him now. During the Hidden House Summit, other than an accident during the tournament, would you dare to kill anyone you want? Old Man Zhao laughed coldly. If we want to make a move, we'll have to wait until the summit is over. I'm the host. If I kill someone here, I won't be able to clear my name. It wasn't that Old Man Zhao didn't want to kill Lin Yi, but that it wasn't worth it to kill Lin Yi now. If he was punished by the ancient sects, it wouldn't be worth it. So no matter what, he couldn't let anyone do anything to Lin Yi during the Hidden House Summit. Although he hated Lin Yi, this was a common hatred. How could he let the Hidden Zhao family take the blame? At that time, the Hidden Zhao family would be blamed for not hosting the Hidden House Summit. Being targeted by the ancient sects wouldn't be a good thing no matter what. The ancient sects now weren't the ancient sects that had gone through a huge change 13 years ago. A new batch of Sky-class masters had appeared like the clouds, and there were quite a few Sky-class late-phase peak late-phase masters. So in the eyes of the ancient sects, Old Man Zhao, who was only a Sky-class early-phase master, wasn't enough. This was also why he insisted that before the Hidden House Summit ended, he couldn't do anything to Lin Yi. Moreover, the Qian Mountain sect had already taken up the task of dealing with Lin Yi. There was still the last round of the tournament. Wouldn't it be great if Lin Yi was killed by the Qian Mountain sect's ancient spiritual beast? No one would have to take responsibility, and no one would get into trouble. This was the best ending, so why take the risk now? Yeah, the Qian Mountain sect's headmaster Wo had already said that he would set up a trap in the last round. Everyone, don't worry. Old Yu said faintly. After all, Old Man Zhao was his in-law, and he couldn't just not speak up for him. More importantly, Old Yu saw Lin Yi's rapid growth, and he was getting more and more shock. Earth-class early phase peak early phase, and he had the strength to challenge a Sky-class early phase master. This kind of genius was rare even in the ancient sect. If the Hidden House you could form an alliance with Lin Yi, it would be a great thing, but this was obviously impossible. Old Yu shook his head. This wasn't the first time he had thought about his grudge with Lin Yi, but no matter how much he thought about it, he couldn't find a solution. Chapter 2137. As a result, the relationship between Lin Yi and Yu Ning had no chance of developing. Just this alone was enough to shut Lin Yi out. Plus, Lin Yi had stolen the Qi Gathering Pill, a pill that could allow Yu Xiaochen to step into Sky Class. This was the hope of the Hidden House Yu, and now, it was gone. In comparison, the destruction of the Common House Yu had the least amount of hatred for the Hidden House Yu. Back then, Elder Yu was chased out by the Common House Yu, and he was taught martial arts by the people there. After he became successful, he built the Hidden House Yu, and the Common House Yu shamelessly tried to get closer to them. From the bottom of his heart, Elder Yu looked down on them. So, after thinking about it, he could bear the hatred of destroying the Common House Yu, and if Lin Yi was willing to return the Qi Gathering Pill, he could let bygones be bygones. However, the Hidden House Yu had to listen to the words of the people there. Elder Yu was very clear about the power of that place, and it would only take a few minutes for them to destroy the Hidden House Yu. And so, in order to completely cut off Yu Ning's thoughts, Elder Yu supported killing Lin Yi, but the whereabouts of the Qi Gathering Pill, enrich, in the last match, Lin Yi must die. Headmaster Wo hemped coldly. My disciple Wo Jindao did not die for nothing. Just as these people were discussing Lin Yi, who was on the stage, broke through as well, and became an Earth-class mid-phase. Although Tang Yuyu said that he was here to protect Lin Yi, Han Xiaopa and Han Tianba were still wary of this person, afraid that he would do something to harm Lin Yi. Tang Yuyu didn't know whether to laugh or cry. However, there were some things that he couldn't say out loud. This was already very biased towards Lin Yi. If he were to openly pull a relationship with Lin Yi and say that Lin Yi was his brother-in-law, how would the Hidden Yu family feel? One had to know that the Hidden Yu family and his Hidden Tang family were both families that were hostile to Lin Yi. As such, Tang Yuyu could only use this method to silently support Lin Yi. After Lin Yi had broken through, Tang Yuyu silently cupped his fists towards Han Xiaope and Han Tianba before quickly walking down the stage and returning to Grandfather Tang's side. Because Tang Yuyu was Old Master Yu's grandson, Old Master Yu didn't say anything even though he wasn't very happy. Since Elder Yu didn't say anything, there was no need for Elder Tang to say anything. I finally broke through the barrier. I feel like I should be able to insta-kill a heaven rank expert. Lin Yi stood up and said indifferently, "Quack." Han Xiaope was stunned. He didn't think that Lin Yi's first words after breaking through would be this. Han Xiaope was very shocked. He wanted to congratulate Lin Yi, but he didn't know what to say. And Lin Yi's words also shocked Han Tianba. Of course, Old Master Zhao, Old Master Yu, Old Master Tang, Old Master Yu, Gate Master Wo, Gate Master Jin, and the others were even more shocked. If it was any other Earth rank mid-stage expert who felt that they should be able to insta-kill a heaven rank expert, they would treat it as a huge joke and laugh at it. But when these words came out from Lin Yi, it felt indescribably strange. When Lin Yi was at the peak of the early stage of Earth rank, he could insta-kill 3 Earth rank experts, including one in the late stage. And on the stage, he also insta-killed a Golden Shield expert from the Golden Bell clan. In the fight against the Golden Bell clan, he withstood a blow from an early stage heaven rank expert. In the final battle with the Chenshan clan, even Wo Jindao and the Spirit Wolf who had merged with the beast were no match for him. After Lin Yi and the beast merged with each other, not only did he not die from injury, but he also broke through. These kinds of strange things really made people believe that Lin Yi wasn't just talking big. Of course, it could also be that Lin Yi had just broken through and his confidence was inflated, which was why he said such overbearing words. But if Lin Yi didn't have a few tricks up his sleeve, he wouldn't have said this. For him to say this, it also proved that his previous strength was not far from insta-killing a heaven rank expert. Now, basically no one thought that after Lin Yi was hit by Wo Jindao and the Spirit Wolf, he sat on the ground because he was healing. In everyone's eyes, Lin Yi probably comprehended the opportunity to break through during the battle, and then went all out to cultivate and break through the barrier. After all, how could healing be completed so quickly? Moreover, they didn't see Lin Yi take any medicinal pills. If he was injured, it was probably just because his breathing was not smooth. It was impossible for him to have suffered too much damage. Previously, the attack of an early-stage heaven rank expert was nothing to Lin Yi. After the attack, Lin Yi stood up smoothly. Therefore, in everyone's eyes, the beast merged with each other didn't cause too much damage to Lin Yi. It only messed up his true qi. Such a short period of time was just enough for other cultivators to catch their breath. It wasn't even enough for them to catch their breath. Haha, since Lin Yi is fine, let's all disperse. The champion of this duel challenge is undoubtedly the Hidden Han family. There's no need to wait for other possibilities. Old Master Zhao's heart trembled, but he still laughed and said, no matter how powerful Lin Yi was, he was only a mid-earth rank expert. He might have some trump card to instantly kill a heaven rank, but what made him most confident was that he knew Lin Yi's true strength. Now, the most important thing was not to rush to deal with Lin Yi, but to discuss how to deal with Lin Yi, brainstorming to see if there was a way to encircle and suppress Lin Yi. Let's go eat lunch. Old Master Tang also said. Everyone nodded their heads and dispersed from the arena area. Lin Yi looked at the dispersing crowd and let out a sigh of relief. Just now, when he said he could instantly kill a heaven rank expert, he only said it casually. His goal was to test the reaction of those old masters and sect leaders. It seemed that these people really did have bad intentions, but in the end, these people chose to leave, which made Lin Yi relax for the time being. During the Hidden House Summit, conflicts with force were not allowed. It seemed that this rule was not false. Otherwise, these old masters and sect leaders could use force to suppress and blackmail the Hidden Han family. There was no need to make a Hidden House Summit competition to target the Hidden Han family. After thinking this through, Lin Yi was not nervous for the time being. The main problem was how to safely leave the Hidden Zhao family after the summit ended. Han Xiaope had said that conflicts with force were not allowed during the Hidden House Summit, but what about after the summit? Chapter 2138. Boss, you're alright? Han Xiaope rubbed his hands together excitedly, but then felt like he'd said something stupid. Lin Yi was definitely fine, or else how could he have broken through? The hidden house of Han hadn't been around for a long time, but Han Xiaope was still a disciple of a hidden house. He'd never heard of anyone breaking through with an injury before. Most people would only break through after they'd recovered. I'm fine. Lin Yi nodded. This Wu Jindao's Beast-Man fusion is very powerful. I have to admit, the Gan Mountain School has some tricks up their sleeves. Yeah, but boss is more skilled than me. I was scared out of my wits on the stage. I didn't know what to do, Han Xiaope said guiltily. Not only can I not help boss, but I'm also a burden. That's right. It's not your fault. You've just broken through to Earth class, and you can't even use your skills, much less fight your opponent. Lin Yi waved his hand. He didn't blame Han Xiaope. He still remembered when he'd first broken through to Earth class, and how powerless he'd felt when he'd fought Blue Hair for the first time. Boss, let's go back for lunch. There's the last extra match in the afternoon, and it's the highlight of every Hidden House summit. Han Xiaope said. Extra match? What kind of competition is this? Haven't you heard anything about it? Lin Yi nodded. No. Han Xiaope shook his head helplessly. We've tried our best to find out, but the Hidden House Han is isolated from the rest of the hidden houses. I'm afraid the other hidden houses and sects have already found out about the competition, but we haven't heard anything. Whatever, we'll take it one step at a time. If it doesn't work, we'll just forfeit. Lin Yi said. 2 bets, we can afford to lose. That's true. Han Xiaope said, this last match was already thrilling enough. These bets weren't really worth it. Oh right, when boss was breaking through just now, Tang Yu from the hidden Tang family came over. He said he wanted to protect boss. But he didn't do anything, so I don't know what he meant. Yes, I know. Lin Yi was a little confused about Tang Yu's strange behavior, but he couldn't figure out what Tang Yu's goal was. In this hidden house summit, Tang Yu seemed to be very friendly. But he couldn't figure out why, so he decided not to think about it. Together with Han Xiaope and Han Tianba, they returned to their temporary residence. After having lunch and resting for a while, a disciple of the hidden Zhao family came to the courtyard and shouted, "Is the hidden Han family's patriarch Han here? The last round of the Hidden House Summit is about to begin. The contents of the competition will be kept a secret for now. Family head Han, please bring the participating disciples and the 2 wagers to the conference hall." Okay, I'll go now. Han Tianba nodded, but in his heart, he did not agree. Keep it a secret for now. Other than keeping it a secret from the hidden Han family, the contents of the competition were probably no secret to the other families, right? But Han Tianba had no choice but to lower his head. He could only keep a low profile and go with Lin Yi and Han Xiaope to the hidden Zhao family's conference hall. In the conference hall, the elders of the other families and sects were all present. After Han Tianba registered the wagers and Lin Yi's name, he sat in his seat. What surprised him was that other than Elder Zhao, there was also the Gan Mountain faction's Patriarch Wu. The last round of the Hidden House Summit will be jointly organized by our host, the hidden Zhao family, and the Gan Mountain faction. Old Master Zhao said, "Here, I would like to thank the Qian Mountain sect for their contribution to this competition." They took out one of the Qian Mountain sect's guardian spirit beasts, the ancient spirit beast, the wind thunder purple lightning beast, as the spirit beast for this competition. So, in order to thank the Gan Mountain faction for their contribution, we have decided that with the hidden Zhao family as the leader, all the hidden houses will take out 1 item to compensate the Gan Mountain faction. This is purely compensation, it cannot be won back. This decision was made by Elder Zhao and the other elders. Originally, it was agreed that only the hidden House Zhao, House Yu, and a few other noble houses would take out 1 treasure each, but the hidden house Han kept winning, which made Elder Zhao very unhappy. So, he wanted to drag him down with him and cheat him of some benefit. This was equivalent to the Gan Mountain faction's Patriarch Wu using the hidden house Han's benefits to get rid of Lin Yi. It sounded like a huge joke, but it was the truth. No one objected to this kind of scheme to cheat the hidden house Han, since they didn't really need to take out any wagers. It was just a pretense, and the ones taking out the wagers were the hidden house Zhao and a few others. They were just cooperating, so why not? They could even give the Gan Mountain faction some face. No one would say anything about this kind of favor. However, Han Tianba frowned. Wasn't this obviously extortion? Although the hidden house Han didn't lack such a wager, they didn't have such a rule. So, Han Tianba asked calmly, Elder Zhao, in the past hidden house summits, there has never been such a compensation, right? If the Gan Mountain faction feels that it's not worth it, then they can cancel the additional test. There's no need to put all the rewards on us, right? This way, those of us who haven't even participated in the competition have already lost a portion of the wager. Even if we participate, we might not win. That's the same as losing 3 portions of the wager. Who calculates things like this? This is the collective decision of the Hidden House Summit. Elder Zhao said calmly, the Gan Mountain faction contributed an ancient spirit beast with the bloodline of a mythical beast for our Hidden House conference. Isn't this righteous act worthy of our respect? It's just a wager, just to show our sincerity. How is this contribution? After the competition, the spirit beast will still be returned to the Gan Mountain faction, right? Han Xiaopa also felt that this rule was a bit of a scam. Although that's the case, what if something happens to the spirit beast during the competition? What if it dies or gets injured? Wouldn't the Gan Mountain faction be responsible for it? The Gan Mountain faction's gate leader Wo naturally wasn't willing to lose out. Since he had already taken the wager, there was no reason for him to give up. He had to make the hidden house and take out something. Oh, that means that as long as we hand over a portion of the wager, if anything happens to the spirit beast, the Gan Mountain faction will be responsible for it. It won't have anything to do with the participating families, right? Lin Yi's heart jumped as he looked at gate leader Wo and asked. Chapter 2139. So that's how it is. Looks like sect leader Wo's awareness is quite high. Lin Yi nodded. Of course, I took out the ancient spirit beast because I'm prepared to sacrifice myself. Otherwise, I wouldn't have asked for your bet as compensation. Although sect leader Wo said that, he didn't think much of it. Did this Lin Yi think that he was invincible just because he killed the spirit wolf by luck? One had to know that this ancient spirit beast, the purple lightning beast, was an ancient spirit beast with the bloodline of a mythical beast. Not only did this ancient spirit beast have high intelligence, but its strength was also top-notch. The most important thing was that this ancient spirit beast with the bloodline of a mythical beast was different from normal ancient spirit beasts. It could use martial techniques. This was something that other battle-attributed spirit beasts didn't have. Moreover, this spirit beast's martial techniques would continuously improve as its level increase. Of course, this purple lightning beast was only at the peak of the late phase of the golden class. It was impossible for it to use martial techniques. However, the strength it had at the peak of the late phase of the golden class was enough to fight against a heaven-class early phase master. This was also why the disciples of the Qian Mountain sect had the same status as the hidden noble houses even though their strength wasn't that great. They had guardian spirit beasts, and the disciples could also control the spirit beast and establish a contract with it. Moreover, they could use the ultimate move of becoming one with the beast. This was something that the other hidden noble houses couldn't compare to. But then again, if this Qian Mountain sect could have a few heaven-class masters, then it wouldn't be a normal sect anymore. It would definitely be promoted to an ancient sect because they had the capital to do so. Therefore, from sect leader Wo's point of view, if Lin Yi and the purple lightning beast were to fight, there wouldn't be a second possibility. There would only be death. Even if the purple lightning beast didn't use much strength to fight Lin Yi, a few slaps would be enough to kill Lin Yi. Of course, if it was possible, he would kill Lin Yi right away to relieve the hatred in sect leader Wo's heart. However, although this purple lightning beast was one of the guardian spirit beasts of the Qian Mountain sect, it didn't establish a contract with anyone in the Qian Mountain sect. It wasn't that the past disciples and sect leaders didn't want to form a contract with him, but that he didn't care about you at all. The purple electric wind thunder beast and the other guardian spirit beast lived in the Qian Mountain Gate because the heaven and earth spirit chi there was denser than other places. Moreover, the Qian Mountain Gate provided it with good food, spirit medicine, and treasures, so it could barely stay there. Otherwise, The purple electric tempest beast would have left long ago. This time, to let the wind lightning purple lightning beast come out was because sect leader Woe lowered his face and begged many times before he got what he wanted. In truth, the wind lightning purple lightning beast saw that Gantian Mountain sect kept on giving it spiritual herbs, so it reluctantly came out. It was just that sect master Woe himself knew about these things, but it was impossible for him to tell others. If other people knew that his Gantian Mountain sect couldn't control this ancient spirit beast, it would definitely cause other sects to covet it. Who knows, ancient level people might even target them. That would be a calamity that could wipe out the sect. Above the ancient sects, there were few things that could restrict them. Moreover, many ancient sects were maverick and specialized in killing and robbing people. In the past, when that ancient sect was destroyed, wasn't it because they had treasures and were targeted by others? This was why this thing was like that. An innocent man would get into trouble because of his treasures. Sect leader Woe wasn't stupid and didn't dare to say the truth. He pulled this purple lightning beast out to show off initially because he wanted to raise his sect's prestige in front of these hidden aristocratic families and sects, to shock them, to let them see that although Gantian Mountain sect didn't have a heaven realm expert, they had an even stronger ancient spirit beast. Now that the situation had developed to this point, it wasn't as simple as just showing off. He wanted to eliminate Lin Yi. Even if he didn't hide the treasures given to him by the Zhao family and other aristocratic families, he would still eliminate Lin Yi. After all, Lin Yi killed his nephew, Wo Jindao. Oh, since sect leader Wo has made such a big sacrifice, then we can't take advantage of it for nothing. Isn't it just a bet? Alright, we, the Hidden Han family, won't take advantage of others for nothing. As Lin Yi said that, he turned to look at Han Tianba and said, "What does Elder Han think?" "Since Mr. Lin has said so, then we'll do as Mr. Lin says." Han Tianba naturally wouldn't have any objections to Lin Yi's decision, so he nodded and agreed. "Alright, Xiaopa, go take out another treasure and give it to sect leader Wo." Lin Yi ordered Han Xiaopa. Yes. Han Xiaopa nodded and left the meeting hall. For an Earth-class practitioner like Han Xiaopa, it was only a matter of minutes for him to return to his temporary residence. Soon, he came back with a treasure. Lin Yi took a look at it. It was a spiritual fruit that could be consumed by spiritual beasts. It could increase their strength by a small amount, but just a small amount was already amazing. One had to know that spiritual beasts didn't have any spiritual arts to train. They relied on absorbing spiritual energy to level up slowly. Therefore, many spiritual beasts from the ancient times were rare to have a golden-class beast. Mystic-class spiritual beasts were all heaven-defying existences. If they took out their inner core and used it for alchemy, it would definitely be a great supplement. Even the Sky Elixir sect would be tempted by it. This was also why Yu Liu and the others were so excited when they saw General Weiwu, a mystic-class spiritual beast. If they could capture it, even if they didn't keep it for themselves, they could still exchange it for a lot of good stuff. Of course, they only dared to do this because they saw that General Weiwu wasn't a threat. If Meng Yaro knew about these theories and let General Weiwu act a little more domineering, pretending to be an ancient spiritual beast with an attack attribute, Yu Liu and the others wouldn't have dared to act so rashly. This spiritual fruit didn't have much use for Lin Yi, but for the Chenshan sect, it would be very useful. Lin Yi laughed in his heart. This Han Xiaopa was indeed his follower. He really knew how to pick things. Actually, it wasn't that Han Xiaopa knew how to pick things, but he felt that Lin Yi didn't have a spiritual beast, so there was no use for it. Giving it to the Chenshan sect was a little too cheap, but since Boss Lin Yi had asked him to do this, he must have thought of a countermeasure in the last match. He wouldn't be at a disadvantage, so he'd let the Chenshan sect be happy for now. When Boss won the championship, he wouldn't even have time to cry. One had to say, this follower of Han Xiaopa had the potential to read people's expressions. It was just that he didn't know that Lin Yi had a spiritual beast, so it was a lucky hit. If he knew that Lin Yi had a spiritual beast, he probably wouldn't have taken it out. Chapter 2140. As Lin Yi spoke, he pushed the spiritual fruit to sect leader Wo and said, "Don't blame me when something happens to your spirit beast." Of course, with so many family elders and sect leaders as witnesses, since I took out this spirit beast, I have the awareness of losing it. Sect leader Woe was overjoyed when he saw what Lin Yi handed over. He recalled Lin Yi's words in his heart and felt very disdainful. You, Lin Yi, want to touch an ancient spirit beast? That's a pipe dream. From sect leader Woe's point of view, Lin Yi's confidence was inflated after he defeated the spiritual wolf. He thought that he could do anything to the purple electric wind and thunder beast. He was really an idiot. Even if Lin Yi directly used his earth-shattering killer move to kill Mardas Hen of the Golden Bell sect, he couldn't do anything to the purple electric wind and thunder beast. The reason why this purple electric wind and thunder beast was called the purple electric wind and thunder beast was not for nothing. Its physical attributes were beyond the 5 elements. It had both wind and thunder attribute. The wind attribute was reflected in speed, depending on the wind speed, so it was called the wind attribute. The thunder attribute couldn't be reflected now, but once the purple electric wind and thunder beast leveled up to a certain level, it could use martial skills. That martial skill was purple lightning, which was a fatal blow to the enemy. So, the purple electric wind and thunder beast had rough skin and thick flesh, so it wouldn't be affected by Lin Yi. Even if it realized something was wrong, it could use the speed of the wind to escape. In this way, it was impossible for Lin Yi to do anything to the purple electric wind and thunder beast. Good, since sect leader Woe is so magnanimous, then I didn't give this spiritual fruit in vain. Lin Yi smiled slightly. He wanted to hear this from sect leader Woe. Otherwise, if something happened to his ancient spirit beast, he wouldn't let it go. Alright, since everyone has reached a consensus, I will announce the rules of the last additional round. Old Man Zhao said, this round is called the Spiritual Beast Duel. The Spirit Beast Sparring Competition was a competition in which the contestants would be placed in the same space as their spirit beasts. Whoever could last the longest would be the victor, and the second and third place would be decided according to how long they lasted. Of course, although this competition was called the Spirit Beast Competition, it didn't mean that you had to fight against spirit beasts. You could hide and express goodwill to spirit beasts. Of course, if you didn't mind dying, you could also forcefully resist. Therefore, this competition was a comprehensive test for the participants. However, this competition was also abnormally dangerous. If one did not have a certain level of ability, it would not be an exaggeration to die on the spot. Therefore, those who are timid and afraid of trouble can admit defeat and not participate. Although Elder Zhao had said that they could concede, that was because of the rules of the tournament. After all, not all disciples of hidden houses and sects would want to die. You couldn't just force them to concede, right? However, Elder Zhao was afraid that Lin Yi would concede as well, so he purposely glanced at Lin Yi when he spoke. However, seeing Lin Yi's calm face, Elder Zhao relaxed. It seemed that Lin Yi wouldn't give up. This was good. As long as Lin Yi didn't give up, he would die for sure. Alright, that's the rules for this round. If there's anyone who doesn't want to participate, concede immediately and you can avoid danger. Elder Zhao said, those who don't concede will draw lots, and according to the order, the spirit beast duel will begin. There is no time limit, so if we can't finish today, we will continue tomorrow. First, I represent the hidden house Zhao to withdraw. Old Zhao's announcement surprised everyone, but right after that, old Yu from the hidden house Yu spoke up as well. We, the hidden house Yu, are leaving as well. Hihi, we, the hidden house Zhuang, are just here to watch the show. This extra round, let's forget about it. Elder Zhuang said. The hidden house Yu also withdraws. Elder Yu said faintly. Although Yu Dake had returned to the hidden house Yu, he didn't use his injuries as an excuse to not participate. Elder Yu, on the other hand, didn't suspect anything. He only checked his injuries and found out that they were indeed healed by the circulation pill and the meridian opening pill. There was still some medicine left in his body that hadn't been refined, so he didn't suspect anything wrong with Yu Dake. The hidden house Yu had no lack of masters to rely on, but an Earth-class mid-phase master had healed himself and returned to the hidden house Yu. There was no reason for Elder Yu to reject. Although it's a bit shameful to withdraw, the hidden house Tang should also give up. Elder Tang smiled. Lin Yi narrowed his eyes. He didn't expect so many hidden houses to withdraw from the last extra round. This was a double wager, didn't they want it? However, their actions also gave Lin Yi a wake-up call. It seemed like this last round wasn't friendly. It seemed like these people already knew the difficulty of the last round, so they all chose to withdraw. Thus, the remaining contestants were the Qianshan Gate, the Golden Clock Gate, the Fire Wolf Gang, the Hidden House Pie, and the Hidden House Han, which was represented by Lin Yi. This meant that half of the contestants had withdrawn. This was unprecedented in the previous rounds. Alright, if that's the case, the remaining 5 houses will draw lots to decide the order, Elder Zhao said. Under Elder Zhao's arrangement, the 5 houses came up to draw lots, and the order was also decided. First was the Hidden House Pie, followed by the Fire Wolf Gang, the Golden Clock Gate, the Hidden House Han, and the Qianshan Gate. The Qianshan Gate was the last. He didn't know if it was a coincidence, or if they did something to the draw, but Lin Yi didn't care about these small details. It didn't matter. After the order was decided, everyone walked out of the meeting hall and went to the martial arts field behind it. At this moment, the martial arts field was already set up. There was a huge metal cage with a strange spirit beast inside. This spirit beast looked like a Qilin beast, but not completely. It had a single horn on its head, and looked like a cross between a unicorn heavenly horse and a Qilin beast. It would be more accurate to say that it was not a beast. Chapter 2141. No problem. The representative from the Hidden House Pie was Pai Zhihai. He was participating this time to train his willpower. He was a physical practitioner, and was already at Earth-class early phase peak. If he didn't have an opportunity, it would be hard for him to break through again. So he had to find a chance to break through the limits of his body. This spirit beast trial was dangerous, but there were always opportunities. Just like the Ice Palace trial, many people still participated despite knowing the dangers. Alright, please come over. Wo nodded. He didn't hate the Hidden House Pie, so he used beast language to tell the Purple Lightning Beast to mess with Pai Zhihai and force him to admit defeat. It didn't have to kill him. This Purple Electric Wind Thunder Beast could actually understand the human language. This kind of ancient spiritual beast with spiritual intelligence was extraordinarily intelligent. However, in its eyes, it couldn't even be bothered to communicate with a weakling like Sect Master Wo. Therefore, the Purple Electric Wind Thunder Beast only snorted and didn't agree or disagree. It gave Sect Master Wo an ambiguous answer. Fine, as long as you don't hurt our Gan Mountain sect disciples. Wo saw the Purple Lightning Beast's attitude and had no choice but to go for the next best thing. Pai Zhihai entered the cage and stared nervously at the Purple Electric Storm Beast. He didn't dare to be careless. In the next moment, the Purple Electric Storm Beast charged at Pai Zhihai like a madman. Pai Zhihai jumped in fright and ran for his life. As a result, a miraculous scene appeared. Inside the cage, Pai Zhihai was running in front while the Violet Lightning Tempest Beast was chasing behind. However, the Violet Lightning Tempest Beast was clearly not using its full strength because sect leader Wall knew that the Violet Lightning Tempest Beast's speed was much faster than this. But, no matter how fast Pai Zhihai ran, the Purple Lightning Beast always maintained a certain distance between them. Pai Zhihai ran as fast as he could, but the Purple Lightning Wind and Thunder Beast followed him at a steady pace, as if it was toying with him. Seeing this, Wo let out a sigh of relief. It seemed like the Purple Thunderbolt Beast was giving him some face. As long as it didn't harm Zhihai's life, it wouldn't be considered as offending the Hidden House Pie. However, Gate Leader Wo knew this, but the others didn't. The Purple Electric Storm Beast was chasing after Pai Zhihai, and Pai Zhihai was running like crazy. Old Master Pai was sweating profusely. Pai Zhihai originally had the mentality of gaining experience, but he didn't expect this Purple Electric Tempest Beast to be so fast. Previously, he had wanted to take the opportunity to launch a sneak attack on the Violet Lightning Beast. But now, it seemed that forget about launching a sneak attack, it would be good enough if the Violet Lightning Beast did not launch a sneak attack. After 2 laps, the Purple Electric Tempest Beast was getting a little bored and annoyed. You're just a little Earth-class early stage peak physical practitioner, and you dare to show off in front of me? I've chased you for 2 laps. If you don't kneel down and admit defeat, why are you still running? Therefore, The purple lightning tempest beast wanted to teach Pai Zhihai a lesson. It suddenly roared and sped up. I admit defeat, I admit defeat. Pai Zhihai finally gave in. He was scared. It wasn't worth it to be killed here by this purple lightning tempest beast. Gate leader Wo thought to himself, you should have admitted defeat long ago. How strong do you think you are? And you want to arm wrestle with the purple lightning tempest beast? In front of a heaven-class early-stage master, this purple lightning tempest beast was not inferior, let alone a little earth-class early-stage peak physical practitioner. All right, I'll open the door to the cage, you can come out, Gate leader Wo said calmly on the surface. However, the moment Gate Master Wo opened the cage, the purple electric beast slapped Pai Zhihai's back with its claws. Although the claw didn't land, it still left a large patch of blood on Pai Zhihai's back. Pai Zhihai stumbled out of the cage and spat out a mouthful of blood. His face was extremely pale, and he didn't even manage to stand outside the cage for a few seconds before collapsing to the ground. Zhihai. Elder Pai's eyes flashed with worry and remorse. If he knew this purple lightning tempest beast was so strong, he wouldn't have let Pai Zhihai go. He almost died. Pai Zhihai was the hope of the hidden house Pai's younger generation. Pai Zhishan was in charge of the house, and Pai Zhihai focused on martial arts. With the two of them working together, the hidden house Pai would slowly prosper, but if Pai Zhihai died here, then it wouldn't be worth it. Grandpa. I feel like there's a strange qi in my body. Phut. Pai Zhihai spat out another mouthful of blood and fainted. Elder Pai was hateful. He had nothing better to do. Why did he have to agree to let Pai Zhihai train? What was there to train? No wonder so many houses chose to give up. They were the smart ones. Zhihai, your body. Elder Pai saw that Pai Zhihai had fainted and panicked, but he wasn't a spiritual master and couldn't check Zhihai's condition. He had no choice but to look at Gate Leader Wo for help. Elder Pai, please accept my condolences. This ancient spirit beast, purple lightning wind beast, is very powerful. If I'm not wrong, your grandson's body has been injected with the pure energy of spirit beasts. This pure energy is similar to the pure energy of heaven and earth. We can only ask a heaven-class master to try and refine it, otherwise. Although sect leader Wall didn't say the rest, Elder Pai could guess that it was definitely not going to be a good thing. Sigh. Elder Pai sighed and looked at Elder Zhao, Elder Yu, Elder Tang, and a few other sky-class masters, wanting to ask them for help. However, these old men were like old students in meditation, looking straight ahead. None of them came forward to help. It wasn't that they didn't want to help, but it was because it wasn't a good job to help others refine their true qi. If they weren't careful and didn't refine it cleanly, the true qi would run into their own bodies. That would be a disaster for them. Chapter 2142. Of course, this was for normal practitioners, except for Lin Yi. Lin Yi's art of dragon mastery was different from normal practitioners, and he didn't need to absorb qi from the qi high point. He could absorb qi from any point in his body, and the pure qi from the beast's body could be directly absorbed and converted by Lin Yi. Lin Yi couldn't convert other types of energy, because Lin Yi didn't have Zhong Naipao's skills. He couldn't convert all the qi into his own, but he could absorb pure qi for his own use. This was also the reason why Lin Yi was able to absorb qi from General Weiwu and Skybolt Pig. Lin Yi, on the other hand, used the art of dragon mastery to automatically convert the energy needed by the recipient according to the practitioner's arts. Lin Yi, on the other hand, transferred it directly into their body, saving them the process of absorbing and converting it through the qi high point. Lin Yi's body was filled with pure energy, but he didn't need to do it himself. But at a time like this, Lin Yi, naturally, wouldn't help the hidden house Pai. Lin Yi had a grudge with the hidden house Pai, and even if he didn't, Lin Yi wouldn't be interested in their business. Old Master Zhao saw that everyone else was indifferent and sighed. He had no choice but to walk over by himself. He was the host, so he couldn't just sit back and do nothing. However, if he wanted to get involved in this matter, he had to figure out if it was worth it or not, and if he could get involved. Old Man Zhao walked over, and Old Man Pai immediately felt grateful. Old Man Zhao, thank you. You're welcome. It's hard to say if he can be healed or not. Old Man Zhao waved his hand and didn't say anything. He just stretched out his hand and checked Pai Zhihai's meridians. However, after checking, he frowned deeply. Old Pai was shocked, but he didn't dare say anything. Sect Master Wo shook his head. He knew that the Violet Lightning Beast was angry. However, the Violet Lightning Beast had already given him face by not killing Pai Zhihai with a single slap. That was an ancient spiritual beast with the bloodline of a divine beast. How could it possibly listen to Sect Master Wo's commands? It wasn't the headmaster's contracted spirit beast, it was reasonable for him to punish someone like Zhihai. This is not easy. This is indeed pure spiritual energy of the world, but I can't absorb and refine it. Old Zhao said, if I force it into my body, I won't be able to do it. I'm sorry, but there's too much qi in your grandson's body. This. Old Pai's heart sank after listening to Old Zhao's words. Old Zhao, how can I save my grandson? I'm willing to pay the price. Old Zhao shook his head. This wasn't easy, and it wasn't easy to get the reward either. If he couldn't absorb it, he would have to find a way to force it out. This was a huge price to pay, and if he went mad, it wouldn't be worth it. Elder Yu, and Elder Tang were older generation Sky-class masters, and they had encountered this kind of thing many times. There were people who begged them, and they tried, but it all ended in failure. Pai Zhihai had a lot of pure qi in his body, and even if there was just a bit, it would be very difficult to force it out. So they didn't even think about trying. They wouldn't do it no matter how much money was given, it would affect their cultivation. I can't do anything about it. I think we should let our Zhao family's king pharmacist take a look. If he can't do anything, then I can't do anything. Old man Zhao shook his head and said. In fact, he didn't have any hope for this. Okay, thank you. Old Pai didn't know, but having hope was better than having no hope at all. He quickly carried Zhihai and went to find Yarawang with the disciple Old Zhao arranged. The second to go up was the disciple of the Fire Wolf gang. Seeing how badly Pai Zhihai was beaten up, and Mingyu didn't seem to be affected at all. She didn't seem worried at all and still let her own disciple go up. First match, Hidden House Pai disciple, lasted 7 minutes and 49 seconds. Second match, Fire Wolves gang disciples, get ready. Old Zhao announced the results. Headmaster Wo saw the Fire Wolves gang disciple walk over and opened the door, letting him in. After the Fire Wolf gang disciple entered the cage, he seemed to ignore the purple electric tempest beast. He just stood there foolishly and did nothing. This situation made the purple electric tempest beast slightly stunned. It thought to itself, is there something wrong with this person? Just standing there like an idiot. He didn't even try to hide. So the purple lightning beast tried to chase after the Fire Wolves gang disciple and play with him, but the Fire Wolves gang disciple didn't care at all. He just stood there like an idiot, as if whatever the purple lightning beast was doing had nothing to do with the Fire Wolves gang disciple. Seeing this situation, the purple electric tempest beast was a little annoyed. It tried to pounce over, but the Fire Wolf gang disciple was still indifferent. The purple electric tempest beast also lost its temper this time. It slapped the Fire Wolf gang's disciple and sent him tumbling, but the Fire Wolves gang disciple wasn't as useless as Zhihai. After falling on the ground, he didn't beg for mercy. After a while, he stood up shakily and didn't move an inch. The purple electric tempest beast was puzzled. Who was this person? He got hit and acted like nothing happened. Was there something wrong with this person? However, since this person continued to stay here after being beaten and did not run away, the purple electric tempest beast had no reason to keep him alive. It walked over and gave the Fire Wolf gang disciple another slap, causing him to fall to the ground. This time, the Fire Wolves gang disciple didn't get up so quickly. The elders watching from the outside shook their heads. They knew that the Fire Wolves gang disciple was weird. He wasn't afraid of being beaten or killed, but this time, he probably couldn't make it. Fire Wolves gang disciple, are you dead or alive? If you don't stand up, then you lose. Old Zhao pondered and asked. After all, if he died on the spot, then it wouldn't count as the result of the match. Chapter 2143. The purple electric beast was speechless. Was this person looking for death? Looking at him, One more slap and he would probably die, right? However, the purple electric beast had no sympathy. Since you came in and didn't run or beg for mercy, then just wait for death. Hence, the purple electric beast of wind and thunder slapped over once again, causing the Fire Wolfgang's disciple to tumble. This time, the Fire Wolfgang disciple did not move. At the same time, Mingyu said, "All right, we admit defeat. We've endured to our limit, let him out." He could still come out. Everyone was stunned, but Wogang leader still opened the cage. The Fire Wolfgang disciple on the ground miraculously moved again, but he could not stand up. Instead, he crawled out of the cage and went all the way to Mingyu's side. Mingyu gave a few instructions to a trusted subordinate beside her, and the subordinate took the injured disciple away. As for where they went, only Mingyu knew. The other elders present did not know. However, they would not deliberately investigate. This Fire Wolfgang was very secretive, even more secretive than the Everyday and Everyday Sun sect. It was a new big gang that rose up in the last 20 years. Even the ancient sects did not dare to provoke them, so no one would bother with their business. Since the disciple was not dead when he came out, even though he admitted defeat, the results of the competition were still valid. Therefore, Old Master Zhao directly announced, in the second round, the Fire Wolfgang disciple lasted for 9 minutes and 8 seconds. It had to be said that the Fire Wolfgang disciple had fallen a few times, but he actually lasted longer than Pai Zhihai. He was actually in the lead now. In the third round, the disciple who went up to compete is the disciple of the Golden Bell sect. After Old Master Zhao announced the results, he continued with the next round. It was the disciple of the Golden Bell sect's turn. This time, Jin Gang was a little hesitant. Of his 2 previous disciples, one was dead, and the other was injured. The one who died was his favorite disciple, and the one who was injured was also a genius disciple. However, when Jin Gang saw how injured Pai Zhihai and the Fire Wolfgang's disciples were, he didn't have much hope. Pai Zhihai was injected with true qi by the spirit beast, but Diamond Drill was not worried about this. After all, the Golden Bell could isolate true qi. However, he was afraid that this disciple's Golden Bell would not be able to defend against the spirit beast's attack. If he was seriously injured, then the gains would not make up for the losses. Thinking of this, Jin Gang instructed the disciple beside him, "After you enter, learn from the Fire Wolfgang's disciple and stand there for a while. As long as the ancient spiritual beast doesn't attack you, you can buy some time. When it chases after you, run. If it catches up to you, catch it for a while. If you feel like you can't hold on any longer, quickly surrender and don't continue fighting." Yes. The disciple of the Golden Bell sect also knew the importance of the matter, so he nodded and replied. Therefore, after the Golden Bell sect's disciples entered the cage, they followed the Fire Wolfgang's disciples and stood there in a daze. However, this move was obviously useless. The Purple Lightning Tempest Beast saw that this person was also using this move. It didn't even bother to try and scare him and directly slapped him. Peng! The Golden Bell sect disciple didn't know what was going on, but he was slapped to the ground. Because of the Golden Bell shield, he suffered some injuries, but they were only minor injuries. However, he didn't dare to stay any longer. Since this Purple Electric Tempest Beast could break his Golden Bell shield, he would definitely die if it hit him a few more times. Therefore, the Golden Bell sect's disciple was decisive and didn't get up from the ground. He said, "I surrender." Woe came to the door of the cage, and the Golden Bell sect's disciple got up from the ground and ran out. It took him less than a minute to run, becoming the contestant who lasted the shortest time. Jin Gang saw the whole process and sighed helplessly. His disciple was unlucky. The previous 2 moves were used by the Hidden House Pai and Fire Wolfgang's disciples. He didn't know if the Purple Lightning Tempest Beast was tired of playing with it or something, but the moment it came up, it slapped his disciple to the ground. Fortunately, his disciple was fine, or else Jin Gang would regret it even more. For the third match, the Golden Bell sect's disciple lasted 38 seconds. Elder Zhao announced, "For the fourth match, the contestant is from the Hidden House Han. The Hidden House Han disciple, please come up." At this moment, be it old Zhao or sect leader Woe, they were all really nervous. Lin Yi's ranking was so low. After watching the first few battles, would he just give up? If he gave up, then all the preparations would be for nothing. They really didn't do anything to the order of the lots. After all, such small details could easily be criticized. Therefore, they all stared at Lin Yi, waiting to see what Lin Yi would choose. Boss, why don't we just give up? This ancient spiritual beast is really quite scary. Han Xiaopa lowered his voice at this point. Moreover, I suspect that Sect Master Wall can interact with this ancient spiritual beast. What if he makes that ancient spiritual beast harm you, boss? You must know that you killed his disciple and the spiritual wolf. Don't worry. Lin Yi smiled and calmly walked toward the cage on the stage. Phew. Those who saw Lin Yi walk over all heaved a sigh of relief. Elder Tang sighed. It seemed like Lin Yi was dead for sure this time. Tang Yuyu's good karma would be useless in the future. As for the elders who wanted to kill Lin Yi, they were unusually excited, especially Wo Jindao, who was extremely happy. He instructed the purple electric wind thunder beast in beast language, in a while, when this guy enters the cage, kill him directly. Don't hold back, you must kill him. Whether he begs for mercy or not, kill him directly. Roar, the purple electric wind thunder beast seemed to disagree with Wo Jindao's tone. Do you see this? This is a spiritual fruit. If you kill that person, it's yours. Wo Jindao pulled up his sleeves and revealed the spiritual fruit that Lin Yi had given him to the purple electric wind thunder beast. Roar. The purple electric wind thunder beast narrowed its eyes, as if agreeing to Wo Jindao's request. Hihi, Lin Yi, you didn't even dream of this, right? The spiritual fruit you gave me will become the key to your path to hell. If not for this thing, the purple electric wind thunder beast wouldn't have agreed so easily. Chapter 2144. Lin Yi walked to the front of the cage. He opened the cage quietly and allowed Lin Yi to walk in. What the crowd didn't expect was that Lin Yi walked into the cage. He didn't dodge or hide, but walked straight towards the purple electric beast. Including the purple electric beast, everyone was stunned. Was Lin Yi crazy? Was he here to die? Just as the crowd was puzzled and the purple electric beast was confused, Lin Yi used a voice that only the purple electric beast could hear. I know you can understand what I'm saying. I also know that Wo wants to kill me, but I have a suggestion. You should follow me, it's better than following him. Roar! The purple electric beast was stunned. It didn't expect Lin Yi to use a technique like true Qi transmission. Only Heaven Realm Masters could use this technique, and not all Heaven Realm Masters could use it. This purple electric beast had lived for tens of thousands of years. It was naturally knowledgeable. Moreover, Lin Yi actually knew that it could understand human language. Even the people from Qian Mountain Gate didn't know this, right? Moreover, what confused the purple electric beast the most was that Lin Yi said that following him was better than following Qian Mountain Gate. What did that mean? Heh. You'll know soon, don't resist. Lin Yi walked over, stretched out his hand, and placed it on the purple electric beast's body. He used the first stage of the art of dragon mastery and transferred a small amount of energy into the purple electric beast's body. The purple electric beast was shocked, its eyes filled with shock and disbelief. It looked at Lin Yi, speechless. Was this real? This person in front of it could actually transfer energy to it. What the purple lightning beast needed the most was energy to level up, otherwise it wouldn't have been able to stay in Qianshan sect for so many years. But, it could be said that although Lin Yi had only transferred a sliver of energy, it was extremely pure, comparable to 10 years of training. The spiritual fruit that Wo had taken out earlier, on the other hand, didn't even give it 1/100th of the energy that Lin Yi had just given it. Hence, the purple electric tempest beast really went a little crazy. It looked at Lin Yi and thought about everything, but it didn't completely believe him. After all, its intelligence was very high. Just this one moment wasn't enough to make it completely believe Lin Yi. Lin Yi didn't say much, only smiling faintly as he activated the first stage of the art of dragon mastery once more, sending a bit more energy over. This time, the purple electric tempest beast no longer doubted it. It finally believed that there was someone who could help it increase its strength. This time, the purple electric beast didn't doubt him anymore. It finally believed that someone could help it increase its strength. I have one. It's my little brother now. I've already raised it from yellow to mystic. It's only a matter of time before it reaches Earth. Lin Yi saw that the purple electric beast believed him, so he threw out another sweet offer. Sky Thunder Pig. The purple electric beast was also a divine beast passed down from ancient times. It naturally knew about treasure-seeking spiritual beasts like the Sky Thunder Pig. In ancient times, the Sky Thunder Pig had another nickname, Fortune Pig. In other words, it could find anything valuable. The purple electric beast was a little envious of the Sky Thunder Pig's ability. How could it not have heard of it? However, which cultivator still knew about the Sky Thunder Pig? This Skybolt Pig was the same as the purple Thunderbolt Beast. They were both ancient spirit beasts with the bloodline of a mythical beast. They had gone extinct a long time ago, and this Lin Yi knew about the Skybolt Pig. He didn't make it up, he really did have it. Therefore, the purple electric beast didn't suspect anything. It quickly nodded its head, expressing its willingness to follow Lin Yi. What a joke! With such a great benefit, wouldn't the purple electric beast follow Lin Yi? Wouldn't it be an idiot? It wasn't a contracted spiritual beast of the Qianshan sect, so it had nothing to do with the Qianshan sect. Although it had eaten a lot of spiritual herbs and treasures, it had also protected the Qianshan sect for so many years as a guardian spiritual beast. Both sides didn't owe each other anything. The Qianshan sect was the one that built the sect at the place where the purple electric beast cultivated. The Qianshan sect owed it. Okay, if that's the case, when the disciple from the Qianshan sect comes in, kill him with one slap. Lin Yi said to the purple electric beast, "This is also your proof of loyalty." Roar. The purple electric beast nodded its head, indicating that it had no problem. It wasn't an idiot. Naturally, it knew that to follow a new master, it must show some sincerity. However, the purple electric beast didn't feel any pressure betraying the Qianshan sect. The two were originally in a cooperative relationship. The sect master used the purple electric beast to show off in front of others. If it wasn't willing to cooperate, it could naturally terminate the contract. Then you play by yourself. I'll cultivate here for a while. As soon as Lin Yi finished speaking, he sat cross-legged on the ground and began cultivating the second stage of the art of dragon mastery. He had just broken through to the middle stage of the earth class, so Lin Yi had to consolidate his strength. The purple thunderbolt beast naturally wouldn't disturb Lin Yi. It couldn't wait to please Lin Yi. After all, Lin Yi was a great character that could help it level up. Just the benefits that the purple thunderbolt beast had received were enough for it to cultivate for a long time. From the looks of it, Lin Yi hadn't used his full strength. He only gave it a little benefit. Therefore, the purple electric beast had to perform well so that Lin Yi would value it enough and give it more benefits. However, Lin Yi sitting cross-legged in the cage and cultivating made the people outside widen their eyes. What was going on? Why wasn't the purple electric beast attacking Lin Yi? Not only that, Lin Yi was still cultivating there fearlessly. Wasn't he afraid of the purple electric beast? Therefore, old Zhao, old Yu, old Tang, and the others all turned to look at the sect master of the Qianshan sect. However, with Han Tianba and Han Xiaopa nearby, they couldn't ask directly. After all, using a spirit beast to kill Lin Yi wasn't something to be proud of. The meeting of the hidden houses was supposed to be fair and just on the surface. Who knew if the people from the ancient level were paying attention? If they were to be seen by those people, none of them would be able to escape responsibility. Sect Master Wo was also very puzzled. What was wrong with the purple electric beast? Didn't they agree to let it help kill Lin Yi? Why are you ignoring me when things have come to a head? Purple electric beast, what are you doing? Quickly go kill Lin Yi. Sect Master Wo used beast language to speak to the purple electric beast. Chapter 2145. But Lin Yi didn't bother with him since the beast had already submitted. He could say whatever he wanted. If the Gan Mountain sect had enough to move the beast, it would have submitted a long time ago. Why would it wait until now to follow Lin Yi? Lin Yi channeled his arts, feeling a little regretful that it wasn't as fast as when Xinyan was by his side. Xinyan was like a moving treasure, and even Lin Yi wasn't used to it. I'm going, it'll be up to you later. Lin Yi opened his eyes and gave an order to the purple lightning beast. He walked towards the door of the cage. Master Wo, open the cage. This purple lightning beast is really scared of me. I've been training for half a day and it hasn't reacted at all. Being the champion of this tournament is so boring. PH, what arrogance. You've only been in there for half an hour, don't think that you're the champion for sure. Gate Master Wo was troubled, not knowing what went wrong, but he still said coldly, the one who laughs at the end is the champion. Oh. Lin Yi replied faintly and walked towards Han Xiaopa. Gate Master Wo frowned. This Lin Yi was just ignoring him, it pissed him off, but there was nothing he could do. In the fourth round, the Hidden House Han has lasted 31 minutes and 25 seconds, maintaining the lead. Next, the last contestant, Gan Mountain Sect Disciples, please enter the stage. Old Zhao announced expressionlessly, but he was hating inside. This Gate Master Wo had said it so well before, but now he dropped the ball at the last moment. He still wanted the treasure. Old Zhao had already decided not to give it to him. Lin Yi wasn't dead, so what was there to give? Old Yu, Old Tang, and the others had the same thought. They wouldn't give anything to Gan Mountain Sect. Lin Yi was fine, and even if he didn't get first, he'd be second. This Hidden House Summit was a failure. A Qianshan Sect disciple went up. This disciple was the one who usually reared the Purple Lightning Wind Thunder Beast. Although he didn't establish a contract with the Purple Lightning Wind Thunder Beast, he was the disciple in Qianshan Sect who was most familiar with the Purple Lightning Wind Thunder Beast. Therefore, it wouldn't be a problem for him to participate in the competition for as long as he wanted. Go ask the Wind Thunder Beast why he didn't kill Lin Yi. Sect leader Wo ordered the Gantian Sect disciple when he opened the cage. Okay. The disciple readily agreed and walked into the cage. He was a little displeased as he scolded the Purple Lightning Beast. Hey, Purple Lightning Beast, why don't you kill Lin Yi? Did our Gan Mountain Sect treat you well for nothing? All these years, we let you cultivate, gave you good food, and didn't you do anything? If this disciple had spoken nicely, the Purple Electric Storm Beast might not have killed him on account of their old friendship. It would have been fine if it had just crippled him. However, this birdman had questioned him the moment he opened his mouth, causing the Purple Electric Storm Beast to be extremely displeased. Who are you? You're just a small disciple from Gan Mountain Sect, and it was Gate Master Wo's order to feed me. Do you think you did something? Moreover, it was your Qianshan Sect that built the sect at the place where I cultivated. I didn't find trouble with you and instead became your sect's divine beast for so many years. If I wasn't here, how could your Qianshan Sect become a famous sect? With your strength, you're just a common house's strength. Don't talk about sky class, you don't even have an earth class late phase peak. So, the Purple Lightning Beast didn't say a word, slapping the Gan Mountain Sect disciple to the ground. He cried out in pain and instantly turned into a meat patty. The Gan Mountain Sect disciple didn't understand why the Purple Lightning Beast would betray them and why it would suddenly show its prowess. However, he probably would never be able to ask that question. This tragic scene made everyone present dumbfounded. Before this, the most tragic ones were Pai Zhihai and the Fire Wolfgang disciple. As for Lin Yi, he was an accident. However, compared to the Gan Mountain Sect disciple being slapped to death by the Purple Lightning Beast, it wasn't much of an accident at all. Wo Jincha! Gate Master Wo shouted out in grief. Wo Jincha was one of the disciples he had high hopes for. If not, he wouldn't let him come into contact with the Purple Lightning Beast. However, he was slapped to death by the Purple Lightning Beast. Gate Master Wo simply couldn't believe it. The others exchanged glances with one another, not knowing what the Gan Mountain Sect was doing. Lin Yi didn't die, but their own disciple died. Could it be that Gate Master Wo and the Purple Lightning Beast didn't communicate clearly, causing the Purple Lightning Beast to misunderstand and think that they killed their disciple? Thinking of this, the elders and sect leaders who participated in the competition felt that they were lucky. It seemed that the Purple Electric Storm Beast wasn't easy to communicate with. If the Purple Electric Storm Beast misunderstood them as killing their disciples, they would be in trouble. Purple Lightning Beast, what is the meaning of this? I asked you to kill Lin Yi. How did you kill our Gan Mountain Sect disciple? Gate Master Woe roared furiously. The purple lightning beast looked at Gate Master Woe's furious expression and didn't even bother with him. A small cultivator dared to point fingers at it. One had to know that it was an ancient spiritual beast with the bloodline of a divine beast. If it was Lin Yi, an amazing cultivator who could help it level up, scolding it, then forget it. But what did Gate Master Woe have to do that? How dare he be so arrogant? Roar. The purple thunderbolt beast rolled its eyes and swung its paw out, breaking the cage. Then, the purple thunderbolt beast ran to Lin Yi's side, looking at Lin Yi as if it was trying to get on his good side. Not bad. Lin Yi touched the fluff on the forehead of the purple lightning beast and said, "Roar roar." The purple lightning beast nodded repeatedly as if it enjoyed it. It had to please Lin Yi. It had the same thought as the original Sky Thunder Pig. It was too slow to level up. This Lin Yi could help it level up, which meant that he was a person with great supernatural power. Even those almighties in the ancient times didn't have such abilities. Therefore, the purple lightning beast subconsciously respected Lin Yi. Chapter 2146. If the previous situation was already shocking enough, then now, this purple lightning beast coming to Lin Yi's side to curry favor with him, the shock it gave them was far beyond what they had seen before. Why did this purple lightning beast betray Chenshan Gate to please Lin Yi? What did this mean? Han Tianba and Han Xiaopa were nervous when they saw the purple lightning beast running towards Lin Yi, but they never thought that the purple lightning beast would be so subservient to please Lin Yi. Lin Yi. So it was you. Gate Master Woe reacted the fastest. He seemed to understand something and jumped up. He pointed at Lin Yi and shouted, "What did you do to our Chenshan Gate spirit beast?" "Me? What did I do?" Lin Yi shrugged. "In this spirit beast competition, there's no rule against tampering, right?" This. Gate Master Woe was stunned. Indeed, there was no such rule in the competition. After all, when he set up the rule, he never thought that someone would actually be able to do anything to the Wind Thunder Beast. The Wind Thunder Beast was an ancient spiritual beast. Whoever dared to do anything to it must be tired of living. However, Lin Yi did it, and he did it very thoroughly. Not only was he fine, but he also let the purple lightning beast kill the Chenshan Gate's disciple, Wo Jincha. "Elder Zhao, now that the results of the competition are out, can you announce it?" Lin Yi said faintly. In fact, he didn't think that he would be able to subdue an ancient spirit beast so easily. But this was good too. This meant that he had one more trump card. This purple lightning beast seemed to be very powerful, but he didn't know if it could fight against a heaven-class master. Ahem, of course. Elder Zhao thought that this was very strange, and he didn't want Lin Yi to pick up a spirit beast for no reason, but he still announced, "The last additional competition, the champion is the Hidden House Han, the second is the Fire Wolfgang, and the third is the Hidden House Pai. Please come and claim your winnings." "Wait a minute, Lin Yi, you have to explain everything clearly. What did you do to the spirit beast? How could sect leader Wo let the matter rest just like that?" He raised his hand and placed it right in front of Lin Yi. "You took advantage of the situation to steal my spirit beast. Are you sick? Are you a sore loser?" Lin Yi looked at sect leader Wo and said coldly, "Elder Zhao, during the Hidden House Summit, if someone comes looking for trouble, what will happen?" "This. We will report it to the ancient sects." Elder Zhao was startled. Although he didn't want to, he could only force himself to say it. The ancient people might be watching nearby, and they wouldn't be able to detect a heaven-class late-phase peak master, so Elder Zhao couldn't say anything that went against his principles. "Elder Zhao, this isn't looking for trouble." Sect leader Wo cupped his fist and said, "This Lin Yi tricked my spirit beast. How are we going to settle this? If Lin Yi didn't steal from us first, would I look for trouble with him?" "Steal from you?" Lin Yi smiled. "I say, sect leader Wo, did you forget what you said before? You said that once this spirit beast is contributed, whether it lives or dies, no matter what happens, it has nothing to do with you. You said that yourself, right? Plus, I didn't take the spirit beast from your hands for nothing. Didn't I give you a spirit medicine fruit?" "You." Sect leader Wo was speechless by Lin Yi's words. Indeed, he did say this to swindle a treasure from the Hidden Han family, but at that time, he said it casually as a joke. He didn't think that this purple lightning wind thunder beast could be stolen by Lin Yi. Old Master Zhao, everyone present heard this, right? As the organizer of the Hidden House Summit, shouldn't you take some measures when someone is being so unreasonable? Lin Yi laughed coldly, ignoring the sect leader and turning to Elder Zhao. Elder Zhao, you're right. This. Of course, sect leader Wo, you did say this back then. This spirit beast was contributed by you. No matter what happens, it has nothing to do with you. Old Man Zhao said, otherwise, why would the Hidden Hand family take out treasures to give you? Elder Zhao was a little pissed off at sect leader Wo as well. He said that he could kill Lin Yi, but what happened in the end? Not only did you not kill Lin Yi, but you also let Lin Yi get first place. Where did I put my face as the host? This entire Hidden House Summit was set up for Lin Yi alone, allowing him to be in the limelight. Moreover, Elder Zhao didn't care who the spirit beast belonged to. Anyway, the spirit beast wasn't his, and he didn't lose anything. Sect leader Wo really wanted to pull out his tongue. Why was he so despicable before? Why did he say that? Now, in order to scheme for a little treasure of the Hidden Hand family, he lost his own spirit beast. The gains really didn't make up for the losses. Alright, I'm going to receive the prize. If you don't want to die, then scram. Lin Yi glared at sect leader Wo. This guy was only an Earth-class mid-stage peak expert. Lin Yi didn't put him in his eyes. Lin Yi didn't dare to be too presumptuous towards those heaven-class elders, but he didn't care about trash like sect leader Wo at all. Seeing that Lin Yi wasn't moved by force or persuasion, sect leader Wo had no choice but to place his hopes on the purple electric wind thunder beast. He carefully walked over and communicated with it. However, before sect leader Wo could finish, the purple electric wind thunder beast gave him a smack on the butt and turned around to receive the prize with Lin Yi. Sect leader Wo was angry and hateful, but there was nothing he could do. He shook his head, hugged his disciple's body, and temporarily retreated to think of a way. He wasn't willing to let Lin Yi take away the purple electric wind thunder beast just like that, so he had to think of a way. Plus, his two disciples' lives were in Lin Yi's hands. How could he just let it go? Lin Yi took his bet and looked at the Hidden House Pie and the Fire Wolves. The Hidden House Pie took out 2 portions of the body refining elixir, while the Fire Wolves took out that weird 01 elixir. So, Lin Yi took out 4 items and traded with them. Elder Pie wasn't here, so Pai Jishan was in charge of House Pie. He wasn't in the mood to haggle with Lin Yi, so he took the items Lin Yi gave him and left in a hurry. He was worried about his brother's safety, and didn't know if he could be cured. Chapter 2147. But Lin Yi didn't bother with him. Since the beast had already submitted, he could say whatever he wanted. If Gan Mountain sect had enough to move the beast, it would have submitted a long time ago. Why would it wait until now to follow Lin Yi? Lin Yi channeled his arts along the way, feeling a little regretful that it wasn't as fast as when Wang Xinyan was by his side. She was like a moving treasure, and even Lin Yi wasn't used to it. I'm going, it's all up to you. Lin Yi opened his eyes and gave an order to the purple lightning beast. He walked towards the door of the cage. Master Wo, open the cage. This purple lightning beast is really scared of me. I've been training for half a day and it hasn't reacted at all. Being the champion of this tournament is so boring. PH, what arrogance. You've only been inside for half an hour. Don't think that you're the champion for sure. Leader Wo was confused and didn't know what went wrong, but he still scoffed. The one who laughs at the end is the champion. Oh. Lin Yi replied faintly before walking in Han Xiaopa's direction. Gate Master Wo frowned. This Lin Yi was simply ignoring him. This made him extremely unhappy, but there was nothing he could do about it. In the 4th round, the Hidden House Han lasted 31 minutes and 25 seconds, maintaining the lead. Next, let's invite the last contestant, Gan Mountain sect's disciple, to enter. Old Zhao announced expressionlessly, but in his heart, he was hating. Leader Wo said it so well before, but he dropped the ball at the last moment. He still wanted the treasure. What the hell? Old Zhao decided not to give it to him. Lin Yi wasn't dead, so what was there to give? Old Yu, Old Tang, and the others all had the same thought. They wouldn't give anything to Gan Mountain sect. Lin Yi was fine, and even if he didn't get first, he would be second. This hidden noble house summit was such a failure. A Gantian Mountain sect disciple stepped up. This disciple was the one who usually reared the Wind Thunder Beast. Although he didn't establish a contract with the Wind Thunder Beast, he was the disciple who was the most familiar with the Wind Thunder Beast in the Qian Mountain sect. Hence, it wouldn't be a problem for him to stay for as long as he wanted. Even if it was a day, the Wind Thunder Beast wouldn't attack this disciple. In a moment, go and question the Violet Lightning Tempest Beast. Why didn't he kill Lin Yi? When sect leader Wo opened the cage, he instructed the disciple. All right. The disciple readily agreed and walked into the cage. He was a little displeased as he scolded the Purple Lightning Tempest Beast. Hey, Purple Lightning Tempest Beast, why don't you kill Lin Yi? Did our Ganshan sect treat you well for nothing? For so many years, I let you cultivate, gave you good food, and let you do some things. If only this disciple spoke nicely. Perhaps the Purple Lightning Tempest Beast wouldn't kill him out of consideration for their old friendship, and would only cripple him. However, the moment he opened his mouth, he questioned him, making the Purple Lightning Tempest Beast really annoyed. Who are you? You are just a small disciple from Ganshan sect. Giving me food is an order from sect leader Wo. Do you think that you did something? Moreover, it was your Qianshan sect that built the sect at the place where I cultivated. I didn't find trouble with you and instead became your sect's divine beast for so many years. If I wasn't here, how could your Qianshan sect become a famous sect? With your strength, you only had the strength of a secular family. Not to mention a heaven-grade expert, you didn't even have an earth-grade late-phase peak expert. Which was why the Purple Lightning Tempest Beast didn't say a word, slapping over. It directly smacked the Gantian Mountain sect disciple to the ground. He cried out and instantly turned into a meat patty. This Ganshan sect disciple didn't understand why the Purple Lightning Tempest Beast would betray them and why it would suddenly show its strength. However, he probably wouldn't be able to ask that question in the future. This tragic scene made everyone present dumbfounded. Before this, the most tragic ones were Pai Zhihai and the Fire Wolfgang disciple. As for Lin Yi, he was an accident. However, compared to the Ganshan sect disciple being smacked to death by the Purple Lightning Tempest Beast, it wasn't much of an accident at all. Wo Jincha, sect leader Wo shouted out in grief. Wo Jincha was one of the more valued disciples in Ganshan sect. If not, he wouldn't have let him come into contact with the Purple Lightning Tempest Beast. However, he was smacked to death by the Purple Lightning Tempest Beast. Sect leader Wo simply couldn't believe it. The others looked at one another, not knowing what Qianshan sect was doing. Lin Yi didn't die, but their own disciple died. Could it be that sect leader Wo and the Purple Lightning Beast didn't communicate clearly and the Purple Lightning Beast misunderstood, thinking that it was their disciple that was killed? Thinking of this, the elders and sect leaders who participated in the competition felt that they were lucky. It seemed that the Purple Electric Storm Beast wasn't easy to communicate with. If the Purple Electric Storm Beast misunderstood them as killing their disciples, they would be in trouble. Purple Lightning Tempest Beast, what do you mean? I asked you to kill Lin Yi. How did you kill our Ganshan sect disciple? Sect leader Wo roared angrily. The Purple Lightning Tempest Beast looked at sect leader Wo's furious expression and didn't even bother with him. A small cultivator dared to point fingers at it. One had to know that it was an ancient spiritual beast with the bloodline of a divine beast. If it was an amazing cultivator like Lin Yi who could help it level up scolding it, then forget it. But what did sect leader Wo have to do that? How dare he be so arrogant? Roar. The Purple Lightning Tempest Beast rolled its eyes and slapped out directly. The cage was broken directly. Then, the Purple Lightning Tempest Beast ran to Lin Yi's side and looked at Lin Yi with a flattering look. Not bad. Lin Yi touched the fluff on the forehead of the Purple Lightning Tempest Beast and said, "Roar roar." The Purple Lightning Tempest Beast nodded repeatedly as if it enjoyed it. It had to please Lin Yi. It had the same thought as the original Sky Thunder Pig. It was too slow to level up. This Lin Yi was able to help it level up, which meant that he was someone with great supernatural power. Even those almighties in ancient times didn't have such abilities. Therefore, the purple lightning tempest beast subconsciously respected Lin Yi. Human martial artists respected the strong, even more so for spiritual beasts. Otherwise, spiritual beasts wouldn't have such a strict level suppression system. However, there weren't many human cultivators who could make spiritual beasts admire. The purple lightning tempest beast was a proud divine beast. At this time, it was completely shocked by the supernatural power that Lin Yi displayed. To be continued, RQ.